to see you.
Good to see you.
She's leading the way.
Am I supposed to dance? We didn't talk about this before.
Okay. I'm just feeling it,
I can
Sean.
dance. I
I'm feeling
mean,
it.
I gotta add something to my coffee to be able to.
This is our sixth season.
Okay.
I gotta feel it a little bit.
You gotta feel it.
I gotta
Okay.
feel it a little bit. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And a heartfelt welcome to everyone joining us today, both in person and on the line. What you're gonna witness today isn't just a pitch competition, it's a movement, a platform, a pipeline, one that was born out of a real need that I encountered in my own journey. When I set out to become a hotel owner, I quickly learned how hard it was to get the access, the knowledge, and guidance, especially the capital, necessary to succeed in this space. That experience lit a fire in me, and that's why I built She Has a Deal to be everything I wished I had when I started on my commercial real estate journey, and everything I wish I knew before I started. And now, we're 6 seasons later, we're changing the landscape, one deal, one woman at a time. She Has a Deal is about equipping women to not only walk confidently into rooms where the deals are made, but to build their own rooms. She Has a Deal is here to create real ownership opportunities for women, and we do that with our rigorous education and community that builds competencies through community and access to capital with our SHAD Momentum Fund. But at the core of it all, it's about belief that women belong in this industry, not just as leaders, but as owners. And none of this would be possible without the generous support of our sponsorship partners and our donors. As a 501c3, She Has a Deal's foundation, the SHAD Project, relies on our partners who share our vision to increase the number of women owning and developing hotels. And we want women to master the investment side of the business. Your belief in this vision and our mission help us unlock doors for women to own, lead, and thrive. And so every dollar donated goes directly toward our knowledge accelerating programs for these women, fueling the path to ownership and strengthening this movement with every donation. And now I'm excited to introduce someone who helps me bring that belief to life every day. As SHAD's new executive director, she ensures that the mission of our movement continues to thrive. So please join me in welcoming the amazing Shanika Thurman.
Thank you, Tracy. And good morning, everybody. At She Has a Deal, we are not just amplifying women's voices, we are actively building the future of hospitality. This is my first SHaDPitch, and I could not be more honored to witness the power and passion of our contestants and what they'll bring to the stage today. As you know, our goal is to increase the number of women who own and develop hotels. And we do that through our educational model, our vibrant network of mentors and sponsors, and our SHAD Momentum Fund. The Momentum Fund is a critical part of the equation, providing capital and confidence needed to turn investment concepts into reality. And we're actively looking for investors for the Momentum Fund. In addition to the pitches today that you'll hear, we're also going to hear about a few projects that are a little bit farther along. These are strong projects with excellent returns, so be on the lookout for these investment opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you, Shanika. Now, you said it's your first year, but really it's your first month?
Are you counting?
I'm not counting. Are you counting? How many days have we been on the job?
51 days.
51 days.
About 3 hours.
3 hour, okay.
4 minutes.
Okay, so you're really counting, okay. We met like a week into your job, and I was like, wait a minute, you're starting a month before Shad. This is great. Well, first off, congratulations for joining the team. I can already tell the passion and leadership that you have is going to make a difference to the platform that Tracy has built. And I know that everyone in the room can feel that as well. You and Tracy and the entire team have poured so much love and passion and commitment to this work. I can't wait to see where it takes us. Now, before we dive into our pitches, I have to ask, 51 days, 4 hours, 30 minutes. What are you most?
31 minutes.
Sorry, 31 minutes, sorry. What are you most excited about today?
You know, I think what excites me the most is seeing the women step into their power. And every single pitch that you see is a result of months and months and months of work, of dedication, of learning and growing. And when we see that on the stage, you'll see that you're not just judging hotels, right? You're looking at their vision and their vision of new spaces and how they create and reflect communities of belonging.
I love that. And I couldn't agree more. These women are not just presenting their ideas, they're building legacies. And they are trying to change the world of ownership for women. Now, as we talk about building, let's talk about what makes this competition so different and dynamic.
Absolutely. What makes SHAD unique is the level of preparation that these women undergo. Over the last 7 months, they've immersed themselves into our EdTech platform. Mm-hmm. They have mastered our 9-stage hotel investment roadmap, and they've absorbed wisdom from the best of the best in the industry. Our mentors and our sponsors, many of you are sitting in the room today. And that preparation really shows in the quality of what you'll see on this stage today.
That's awesome. I remember when I first met Tracy and I asked about the education program that the folks, the women go through, and I read it and I was like, yeah, no thank you. I will go the other way. I haven't done formal education in 10 years since my time at Ohio State, and I'm good. So let's talk about what each contestant will be evaluated on. There's 5 different criteria. Number 1, the competitive advantage, how they plan to deliver value to their investors. Number 2, market analysis, their keen understanding of the market in which the hotel operates. Due diligence, how they've confirmed the deal's feasibility. Project return on investment. And number 5, how effectively they've presented and responded to the questions from our judges. This is the real deal. Each team will have 15 minutes to pitch, followed by a 10-minute Q&A from our esteemed judges. After the judges, we will take 1 audience question total after each pitch. So everyone, please be ready, listen closely to ask your questions.
You know what that means? The stakes are real.
Very real.
And one of our today's women participants and one of our early careerists will walk away from this stage. How much do you think?
10,000.
No.
15.
No.
I'm sure it's in my notes. I should know this.
$50,000 in deal equity. That's enough to clap for. That's more than a prize, y'all. My southern accent's coming out. That's more than a prize, y'all. It's a launch capital, right?
That's amazing. And it doesn't get more exciting than that. Shanika, thank you so much. We'll be hearing more from you throughout the day. I wish you good luck as you experience your first SHaDPitch competition.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shanika. A big round of applause again for Shanika. Day 51, hour 4, minute 32. All right, so now to help us evaluate these phenomenal pitches, let's meet the powerhouse panel of judges making this decision. They are leaders from Hilton, Hyatt, Extended Stay, Sonesta, and Waterwalk. I'm going to introduce them all, but please hold your applause until I have done so. We will begin with Matt Whaling, Senior Vice President of U.S. and Canada Development of Hilton Hotel and Resorts. He leads strategic growth and drives the expansion across one of the most dynamic, competitive hospitality markets in the world. With 26 years in hospitality, 20 of which with Hilton, Matt brings extensive expertise in development, franchising, branding, and operations. Oh, save the plus at the end. Thank you. Join us in welcoming Judy Bickledge, Chief Investment Officer of Extended Stay. She oversees investment strategy and drives performance across a high-demand, high-impact hotel category. A 45-year hospitality veteran, Judy has a diverse background, which includes finance, mergers and acquisitions, development, asset management, risk management, and operations, AKA Judy's done it all. Next up is Bridget Rooks from Sonesta International Hotels, where she serves as the Vice President of Architecture, Design, and Construction. She leads brand-defining renovations and shapes architecture, design, construction standards that continue to elevate Sonesta's growing portfolio. Jim Tierney joins us from Hyatt, where he serves as the SVP of Development, leading the company's strategic expansion and brand growth across key markets. And finally, joining us as the Chief Executive Officer of WaterWalk is Mimi Oliver, an award-winning third-generation hospitality leader, driving the future of flexible lodging through strategic innovation and bold, visionary leadership. Let's give our judges a big round of applause. Now, after each presenter completes their pitch and addresses the judges and audience questions, they will head backstage to my counterpart, Tejal Patel, a proud member of the very first SHAD cohort, who will capture these crucial behind-the-scenes moments. And I'm going to throw it backstage to Tejal. Hello, Tejal. How are you?
Hi, Suraj. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much. I am so thrilled to be here to host SHaDPitch. Again, you'll find me backstage. We'll interview all of our contestants as they're walking off the stage. But as audience members, you all have a very important job today as well. So just a quick note about voting. You're actually going to be voting twice today. After each presentation, you'll see the QR code come up and you'll scan it. And 5% of those, I gotta make sure I'm doing this right, y'all. Sorry. First, right after each pitch, you'll rate the presentation, and then those rates will count towards 5% total score. And then, once all the pitches for today's women are complete, you'll vote again to help select our coveted Viewer's Choice Award. So whether you are watching from live stream or you're here in the room, make sure you're tuning in and participate. Every time you vote, you'll also be entered in a raffle where you'll win some fabulous prizes. So back to you, Suraj.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tejal. We are so glad that you are backstage with our contestants. What we are about to witness, my friends, is a glimpse into the passion, perseverance, and dreams of these incredible women. Each one has mastered complex concepts and statistics to bring their vision to life. I invite everyone to lean in, listen closely, and prepare your list of questions. We want to hear from all of you as well. All right? We're ready to go? Let me get a round of applause. We're ready to go. All right. Kicking off our showcase from Oxon Hill, Maryland, representing Veterans Group Property Investment, Natasha Jameson Randolph.
Hello, I'm Natasha Jameson Randolph, CEO and owner of Veterans Property Investment Group out of Oxon Hill, Maryland. My company started out doing multifamily investing and some small asset residential renting. This year I decided to make a pivot after having been to a SHaDPitch last year in 2024. I never really thought, quite frankly, that I would be even considering the idea of becoming a hotel owner. I mean, really? Who thought about it? The inspiration, quite frankly, comes from the idea that I can bring significant returns to investors, obviously to myself, and to kind of go in a new direction and create a larger, much bigger business in the commercial space. We want to make sure that when we do this, that we are trusted partners in our business with our investors. Tracy's program has given me the knowledge and the base to at least be in the room, to understand what the discussion is all about so that I can acquire a property and then maybe hone it in such a way where it still meets the core values of my business. As a service member, you know, you train those who come back behind you. You give them your knowledge, And that's ultimately what I really would love to do, to be able to be knowledgeable.
Bringing experience in real estate and a passion for value-driven investments, she's now boldly pivoted to hotel ownership. Please welcome Natasha Jamerson Randolph.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Natasha Jameson Randolph, CEO and owner of Veterans Property Investment Group, a veteran-owned real estate investment company dedicated to repositioning undervalued properties. So I stand here today at more than 6 feet tall, wearing a 3-inch heel, because the projected returns for the property we are discussing commands some real attention, much like myself. Would you be interested in an investment projected to provide exceptional returns with a strategic level of financial risk? How about if it were an undervalued asset in a prime location? Or if the cash-on-cash return was greater than 15%? How about if the multiple on invested capital was 3x? How about $50K per key all in? Are you interested? Let's go. Today, we'll discuss the opportunities supported by the strength of the San Antonio market and the growth underway in the northeastern submarket. We'll walk through the fundamentals of the property, the rebranding thesis, and how this transformation is designed to unlock significant value. We'll, of course, talk about the returns, the risk strategy, and how this fits within our company's long-term plan for investor value. First, my company. Veterans Property Investment Group has a perspective built from service and experience. We are transitioning from a multifamily perspective into hospitality. We are applying the same disciplined value execution, which is our core identity. San Antonio. San Antonio, Texas is flourishing. With more than 2 million people, it's growing at a rate of 2%. It's the 7th largest city in the United States and one of the fastest growing cities in Texas. In 2024, the hospitality sector generated $21 billion pre-pandemic. That's up 24% pre-pandemic, I apologize. Almost 38 million visitors contributed more than $9 billion in tourism spending. Anchored by a robust economy of military, healthcare, tech, and tourism, San Antonio attracts investment and development for residents and travelers. There's also plans for a $2.5 billion airport expansion, which increases the tourism base. There's also the fact that it's a drive destination that's easy from Dallas, Austin, and Houston. Northeast San Antonio. This submarket is one of the city's most strategically positioned growth corridors, with industrial and logistics hubs providing connectivity for commuters, workforce, and regional traffic. It's a blend of light industrial and suburban residential zones. From a hospitality perspective, the mid and economy tier hotels equal about 6,000 keys. However, please note, this is mostly considered vintage stock. The NEC Revival, or the Northeastern Corridor Revival Plan, is created by the city and is aimed at beautification, infrastructure, and attracting new business. Rackspace Technology Logistics Center is also in that location. The submarket has strong economic fundamentals, public investment gaps in branding, and quality economy hotel options. These are ideal conditions for a value-add proposition. So, San Antonio and the economic demand drivers are powered by 4 demand engines. The military, or Joint Base San Antonio, Texas, which has about 80,000 personnel and is one of the largest bases in the United States. The South Texas Medical Center, which has 30,000 professionals, and Rackspace, which we've already discussed, and other centers. Tourism, of course, as you see, is the Riverwalk, the Alamo, Hero Stadium, and many other locations that make San Antonio really great. These sectors contribute to the submarket population exceeding 350,000, supporting steady streams of transient and extended stay hotel demand year-round. So this is the asset. This is the La Quinta by Wyndham on IH-35 in San Antonio, Texas. 130 keys of 50,000 square feet that is fronted by a highway where it gets 200,000 traffic counts every day. My thesis is rebranding of this underperforming vintage La Quinta and transforming it into a Wyndham Days Inn. This is to improve demand capture along with boosted and bolstered by the brand strength of Wyndham. So, this property is well positioned to serve value and leisure business demand. Its layout, as you'll see, make it ideal for a phased renovation strategy, reducing downtime while maximizing the speed to market for the rebrand. The property sits again on I-35, and I can't get over those 200,000 traffic counts every day. CoStar confirms that there are no new deliveries of economy tier hotels expected in this submarket for at least 2 years, at least that. Another reason why this acquisition represents a compelling opportunity. So, as you can see in the overview, this building is comprised of, or this asset is comprised of 3 separate buildings, again, making it very easy when it comes to trying to do the PIP. However, the question is why the rebrand? Well, this property is an exterior corridor garden-style asset, a building type no longer supported by the Wyndham La Quinta, and therefore the franchise agreement will not be renewed. As a result, the Days Inn brand is the only viable economy tier brand option when it comes to the company. The Wyndham brand Days Inn at the lower economy tier enables continued brand support. So this is the aerial. This highlights the 3 buildings fronted by Interstate I-35. The surrounding assets are a mix of commercial properties, hospitality, most of which are vintage or in dated condition. The competitive advantage created by the Refresh branded asset is the key. So, here is a rendering representing the refresh and the curb appeal in the new branded colors and signage of the Days Inn by Wyndham. This breathes new life into the asset. Here's a room refresh, and you can see the furnishings and the equipment associated with the Days Inn brand, the new flooring. All these improvements bring a modern and improved aesthetic. And the hotel lobby and cafe now convey a bright and inviting visual under the brand concepts. So, let's talk about the deal. The snapshot reflects a strong value proposition. The asset is being acquired significantly below replacement cost. So the offer for myself would be $4.5 million. The owner wants $5 million. However, with a total PIP of $2 million and an investment of $6.5 million, including renovations, the steady income approaching $1.9 million annually and a projected exit of near $10 million. These fundamentals point to a well-structured, high-yield opportunity that aligns with disciplined return investing. Again, more about the deal. These projections illustrate a high-performing investment opportunity. The combination of significantly high equity upside and a robust annual cash flow and an attractive internal IRR suggests strategy delivers both short-term income and long-term value creation. The comp set landscape in this corridor is dominated by outdated vintage economy properties. Poor quality, inconsistencies, lacking cleanliness. The newly renovated, brand-supported Days Inn Dawn with a plan to exceed market expectations at affordable price point. It's the quality that will command the higher ADRs and improve guest satisfaction and improve the RevPARs relative to its competitors. We project significant gains across all key market indices. The refreshed design, enhanced curb appeal, and alignment with Wyndham's global loyalty platform equates to an immediate lift in market penetration index. This is a signal of higher occupancy capture versus the comp set. The guest experience and brand affiliation will allow us to command higher rates, improving our average rate index. With these metrics, we project an increase in revenue generation index and a higher share of market revenue. So, who are our target profiles? The reposition strategy is highly aligned with the target profiles that are in the days in dawn that the brand is built to serve. The refreshed property will cater to 4 market segments: local military and families, truck drivers utilizing the heavily trafficked corridor, value-seeking business travelers seeking dependable lodging near industrial and tech hubs, budget-minded families visiting San Antonio and its many tourism spots. The Days Inn concept was specifically developed to meet the needs of today's economy guests, offering clean, stylish, and affordable accommodations. Our risk mitigation strategy is built on a strong risk profile and multiple paths of exit. Utilizing a fixed rate debt at 7.5 loan to value and locking in today's rates, we are protecting against future interest rate volatility. The phased renovation approach allows us to maintain partial operations throughout the construction and preserve cash flow and reduce downtime risk. Aligning with Wyndham's Days in Dawn, this provides access to a global loyalty network and partnerships. This compelling combination of strong upside potential and strategic risk management, the key advantages include our low risk basis and a well below replacement cost. This brand-driven reposition in the Wyndham system allows access and growth to the Northeast San Antonio market. It is an opportunity to fill a gap in quality economy lodging. So what is our why? The strategic plan is to enter the hospitality sector through a disciplined, targeted investment, to leverage our operational strengths while building experience, credibility, and market knowledge. We are intentionally focused on scaling in a responsible way while focusing on value-add opportunities. The vision and clear commitment to protecting and enhancing our investment value is our goal. This property represents the very essence of who we are and what we do at our core. This transforming of this undervalued asset into a higher performing gem. I'd love to stand here and discuss a 2,000 room, fully amenitized luxury resort. And one day we will. But for right now, in this economy, at this pivotal point in our company's growth, this project is exactly where we should be. It's not just a property, it's a crossroads. It's an opportunity to build a track record that delivers results and establishes a reputation that will carry us into even bigger opportunities ahead. Aligned with a plan, a focus, and a vision, the right property at the right time, she has a deal. Who's with me? I thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to get to this point in my journey. Today we covered the strength of the San Antonio market, the property's fundamentals, our rebranding strategy, the projected returns, the key risks, and why this opportunity makes sense for investors. In short, a strong market, a strong value, and definitely a compelling upside. The success metrics were discussed. Again, who's ready? And with that, I'll take your questions.
Awesome. Great job, Natasha. Let's see. Oh, I've seen this trend on Instagram. I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah, she kind of looks like me, doesn't she?
She does. I need those heels.
No, well, you know, everybody can't be this black.
They cannot. They cannot. I know that. I know that. All right, judges. What do we have? We've got one mic right here. Should we start with you, sir?
Hello? Hello? Is this on?
I think it's on. Are we on?
Hello?
There we go.
Is that it? Okay. Natasha, fantastic job.
Thank you.
This is great. One question is, what is the current competitive set and how many keys?
It's 6,000 keys. The comp set that we had to pull from was some was mid, much of it was economy, Super 8, Econo Lodge. There are a few others, but we took it out of a comp set of approximately 12.
12 hotels, and they're all up in this northeast?
Yes, out of the northeastern corridor of San Antonio.
And what is the status of their quality at this point? Have they been recently renovated? Or?
There are very few in this comp set that have been recently renovated. It's almost as if the owners are taking advantage of the high traffic counts and just leaving things as they are, because the reviews indicate that there's a significant amount of vintage stock, that there's some cleanliness challenges, that they have a desire for a much longer or much better experience when it comes to their lodging.
And any of those properties for sale currently?
There is one also that I happen to be looking at, but I won't tell you what that is.
Awesome. Any other questions from our judges? Yes, ma'am.
I share with Matt's feelings. Great job.
Thank you so much.
I do have a question, though. You have $2 million in your PIP.
Yes.
Looking at what your scope of work is, that seems really light. That looks more like a refresh than a full PIP.
I do understand that, and so I have gotten the information from Wyndham regarding what it would take to do the interior PIP. Not being in the due diligence phase, it's a little bit difficult to know, because what I do know is that there are at least 20 rooms down in this building and in this asset, and so that also is an opportunity, from my standpoint, for the potential to review and maybe do a lower price when it comes to the owner, when it comes to the offer. So that would be the strategy going forward. We know that we have at least $600,000 in PIP and furnishings and equipment, and so we need to make sure that we strategically manage what is required, and we can also do it in a phased way. Because we've got 3 separate buildings, it gives us the opportunity to do one structure if necessary, produce the signage, and then come back and still be able to meet our revenue with having 1 or 2 of the buildings down.
Great job, Natasha.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Just a follow-up question on that, and then I have one more. So the revenue is assumed based on what key count being occupied in this time?
That's at about at 50%.
At 50%, okay. And then is there an intent to serve breakfast?
Currently, that establishment still does serve breakfast, and there is a kitchen and a cafe component, but we will fall into whatever the Days Inn brand requires, and I don't believe it is because they're serving waffles and orange juice and coffee, and it would depend upon whether the Days Inn would allow us, because it's mostly pastries and light beverage that they would serve.
And then is the rate lift, is that factoring in the breakfast amenity?
Yes, ma'am, it certainly is.
Thank you.
Jim.
Hi.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
If I could just follow up on that last question. You'll move from $85 to $98 ADR.
Yes.
But we're moving from upper mid-scale down to economy.
Yes.
Help us wrap our arms around that, if you would.
So I think we all understand that nothing is getting cheaper, right? And so with that, we know that what we have currently, they're charging approximately $87. And so as we know that for the first 2 years, we're going to be flat as far as our ability to raise the rate. However, when we go fully into the PIP, we start being able to produce additional rooms. We got some additional curb appeal. We know that we can go ahead and continue to raise that rate at a rate of about 1.5, almost 2. I think when I was at a Hunter conference, someone once said, you can at least raise your rates by $5 a year, right? So if I've got a newly PIP'd property and I've got all this other vintage stock that's in the market, then I'm going to exceed what everyone else's expectations are, and therefore be able to demand a higher ADR.
Got it. Thank you. To follow up on Matt's question, there are approximately 10 hotels in your market study, right?
Yes.
Your comp set. The average key count is roughly 92. You're at 130, so you're 150% the size of the others. Did you give any thought to potentially taking some rooms out? And by the way, disclaimer to anyone here from Wyndham, this is not intended to suggest that. But if you think, right, you're one of the largest key counts, in a market, right, 50% occupancy, right? So did you think about that, actually, let's start there and then I'll go with part B if you don't mind.
So when you talk about removing rooms, some of these rooms are actually suites. And so that would mean we would have to, based upon what the Wyndham franchise agreement would require, is to go back and relook at the entire structure. Now, when we talk about removing rooms, we talk about what happens on the back end when it comes to the sale. Because if we have fewer rooms and lesser room counts, then that might not necessarily be looked at as favorable to the new owner. So we have to carefully walk into that path and decide what is best when it comes to not just going in, but we need to consider what happens when we leave.
Yeah.
How we can best position the next owner and get the most money for our investors when we get ready to exit the market.
Got it. And then last question, military, right, huge presence here. Was there any consideration given to adding kitchenettes, fridges, microwaves, or other in the rooms for these longer term stays?
When it comes to the Wyndham brand and the Days Inn brand, that's not part of it. However, if we could consider that, again, that would be part of the negotiation when we talk about what happens when the franchise agreement takes place and what they expect when it comes to what our rooms look like. Again, some of those are suites. It's really just a matter of us meeting their compliance because, of course, there's key money, there's a lot of things, and I want to make sure that this brand and this particular asset is positioned and does exactly what Wyndham does as they support myself and my fellow SHAD members in their acquisitions in the future for hotel ownership.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Bridget.
Thank you for the amazing pitch. Appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
So have you studied any other La Quinta to Days Inn's conversions? And if so, how are they performing?
Well, there is another La Quinta. It's not a conversion in the market. However, it's one of the four-story new corridor with the new branding, and I will say it's absolutely gorgeous. However, when it comes to conversions in this particular market, there are not a lot. It's mostly a lot of ground up because of the way that San Antonio is growing. San Antonio is growing in such a way where they're putting a lot of assets in the downtown market. But we all understand that the barrier to entry when it comes to this is significant when we talk about being downtown, but it's only a 15-minute walk. I've looked at the reviews and people are saying, gosh, I was so glad I didn't have to pay for parking, these value-driven travelers. Didn't have to pay for parking. I could take mass transit or I could walk down to the Riverwalk and not have that additional cost associated with my stay. So when we talk about this particular asset, I think it's significant and important to know that value travelers still need quality accommodations, and it's not being provided. So I think it's very important in this market to be able to consider the idea that they're still making money at the economy tier. I was at a brand day, and someone said, Natasha, you don't necessarily have to do a luxury accommodation to make money in hotels. Microtels make money too, right? Luxury accommodations make money. And so the vision is to ensure that I keep my eyes on the idea that my investors are the most important thing in this equation. When we get to where I started, wanting to do a boutique hotel, fully accommodated, beautiful artwork. I mean, really, right? Who doesn't want a big, sexy hotel? But I will tell you, as a multifamily investor, I cannot tell you how many times that I've fallen in love with the property and not necessarily fallen in love with the numbers. And the numbers speak for themselves when it comes to this property.
Awesome. Great, Natasha. Wonderful. Judges, thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the audience? I've got a couple mic runners. Any questions that have not been answered or asked by our judges? Oh, yes, Jen here. Oh, 1 second, Jen. We're gonna run a mic quickly.
Not a question, just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, since that was a great comment by my friend Jen, I've been told I'm allowed to have one more question. Are there any questions? If not, I don't know if the Shad Talk table's got a question for us. Anyone on oh, we do? All right.
Firstly, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to explore why you didn't consider, or if you did consider, brands outside Wyndham. And again, no shade on Wyndham, we love them. But we all like that talk of key money, which sometimes comes from adding new inventory from another brand. Now, I know the exterior corridors might pose a challenge here, but I'm thinking about maybe Spark, maybe City Express, maybe there's something within Choice that might have been a good conversion tactic. So tell me a little bit about that.
And so I actually did. I contacted a number of brands regarding this particular asset, Very few of them were interested. And then there was a challenge of the protected area, right? So I approached one of the hotel brands who was very interested in the asset, but then they looked at their inventory in the space and realized that that particular asset was inside their protected area, and therefore they declined. And so that's how we ended up at the Wyndham brand. They were willing, they're still on board, they were on board from the beginning, and therefore it was just a natural transition to that. So thank you for that question.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Natasha. We're going to send you backstage. Thank you for your pitch. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big round of applause.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All righty. Now, for everyone in the room and tuning in online, it's time to rate this pitch. Now, as a reminder, your rating counts for 5% of their final score. Please scan the QR code on the screens to rate Natasha's pitch. Now, as a reminder, everyone, that rating this also enters you into some amazing raffle prizes from our wonderful sponsors. And while you are doing that, I want to send it backstage to Tejal. Tejal, take it away.
Everyone, I have with me Natasha, who just pitched. How are you feeling? First pitch of the day, first pitch for today's woman. So how are you feeling now that you've introduced your project to the world?
I feel really, really good. Far better than I thought I would, quite frankly.
I love that. Well, that was incredible. I wanted to ask you actually have a military background. So why hotel ownership? Why did you want to take that leap?
Well, you know, transitioning from the military into real estate. And so the multifamily asset class is pretty glutted right now, quite frankly. There's a lot of overpaying when it comes to assets. And so I went back and looked at hospitality, and the numbers just seem to work much better. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to hospitality that don't exist in multifamily. And so that's why this is the preferred asset class right now for me. I think this is going to be a win-win situation for our business and a win-win situation for our investors.
I love that. And some of the pitches that you all will see later on today, we typically don't see economy level hotels being pitched. So why did you do something kind of out of the box or untypical?
Well, again, it's about the value add proposition. We want to make sure that we keep in line with making sure we are able to look at assets in all classes and bring value out of them. You know, just because it happens to be economy class doesn't mean, as I've said already, you can still make money with a microtel.
Oh, absolutely. You can't knock on economy. So, well, thank you so much. Great job and best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You all have a good day.
Of course. And everyone now hear a couple words from our sponsor, Wyndham.
And so what our team has done is put together a program that will help women figure out the how and why to get the project into the ground, and then also how to operate the project once it opens.
Welcome to our first Shad Talk for Season 6 of SHaDPitch. I'm sitting here with Rosanna Maeta. She is the president and CEO of AHLA, which is the American Hotel and Lodging Association, a wonderful organization for us hoteliers. Rosanna, can you just tell our audience just a little bit about what AHLA does and why they're so important to the industry?
Sure. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Tracy. I'm such a huge fan of what you do. It's so impressive, and we're so thrilled to be here today. So our association is really about advocating for a more business-friendly environment to make it more easier in this day and age to run and operate and own a business. And so we're doing that at the federal level. We're educating lawmakers around the country about the need need for, less burdensome regulation. So whether that's around labor or workforce issues, or promoting travel and tourism to places like San Antonio, and then at the state and federal level and local level to make sure that, it's harder today to run a business. Operating costs are rising twice as fast as revenue. And so what can we do to educate lawmakers about the need for less regulation, or in some cases, more and better, stronger regulation?
Yeah, as a hotelier, we really appreciate the work that you do. Thank you for being here and joining us today. Our young hoteliers, future hotel owners, need to know and join AHLA.
Thank you for that pitch.
But thank you for joining us. Let's get to the pitch. Let's talk about the pitch. So I have Emily Johnson here and Teresa, who are both SHaDPitch alum. Emily, you want to start off? Give us some feedback. Or maybe Teresa should start, because you gave a little feedback before. Teresa, Natasha's pitch, you're military also. Thank you for your service.
Yes, I am. So I do appreciate Natasha being a vet, and again, I think her service. So as a veteran in this space is limited and underserved, so I do appreciate that she, now she's a SHAD alum, so I like it. So.
What do you think about the pitch?
I thought that I like the area. She picked a very, very good area, knowing that is one of the largest military bases. And as a vet, we travel a lot. Even active duty military travel a lot to look for a quality hotel that to stay at more than 21 days as we transition will be great in this particular area because of the price and then the choices that we'll have. So I do like that she focused on the underserved market, which is the quality that she's focused on and converting that.
Great. Emily, with your hotel management experience, and your company that you work for does hotel management. Tell me, from a management perspective, what did you take from this pitch?
I had some questions on the conversion as I addressed, and her thought process in the conversion. First of all, I think she did a great pitch, and again, I think how amazing and accomplished she is, being both a vet and coming into the real estate market as a whole and now into hospitality. I really loved her enthusiasm on her pitch, and always feel that enthusiasm. I think I had some questions on the conversion, which we talked about, but I also was thinking a little bit about her exit strategy and what she's hoping to kind of get in terms of the exit. The market obviously has demand, and I think meeting that with the economy segment is very smart. I think, getting to that 10M exit might be a bit of a stretch, but then again, it seems like the market has the demand. And again, looking into that and seeing if that's really going to drive a property that's been refreshed, it has potential.
Rosanna, you have any comments about the pitch?
Yeah, I thought she had a really deep understanding of the market and who her audience and target is, and I think the demographic there was really smart. I also like that she was planning on keeping some rooms closed during, open during renovation, so she's still seeing revenue come in the door. San Antonio's booming, and to know that market and the economy scale and what a value-driven customer is looking for, I think was really important there.
I was just thinking, Natasha being a veteran, and she's one of my Bow sisters, I have to mention that. Hey, Bow sisters out there. She's a member of the Bow Collective. We're a group of Black women entrepreneurs, and so I love to see that stretch, right? Her going from multifamily to hotels. Do either of you have any type of advice? Because I know multifamily, I have some experience there, is a lot different than hotels. Any advice that you would give Natasha or anyone who's interested in moving from multi or other hotel or other commercial asset classes to hotels?
I would say one of the things is that is the PIP. Going into the hotel and trying to change it to a different brand, and then looking at the hotel is very different than multifamily for sure, and that I do like what she said when she answered the questions about the $2 million, right? Is that enough because of how many rooms that she has? So if she goes in a thought that is different and that she needs to reevaluate it as she do her walkthrough and be very cognitive of what she needs to change and how much it's going to cost her to convert it to a quality hotel and what it is today.
And I mean, I think I would answer that a little bit from an operational perspective. Obviously, the operations are quite different on a multifamily than a hospitality property. I don't know if she touched on if she'd consider a hotel management company in this, not just a plug because I work for one, Gulf Creek Hotel. But I do think when you first step into this industry, it is smart on your first hotel property to have a hotel management partner to really be able to look at those things in terms of staffing, housekeeping. There's all different things that are different than when you're managing multifam.
Any other thoughts before we move to our next pitch? She's great.
I just like her, so since she's a vet, I think she should win.
Well, I mean, I would like to just ask you, Emily, and you, Teresa, having been on that side, like, how does it feel to be on this side?
Oh, it's so much easier to comment and sit here and have our chitter chatter and a lovely time sitting here at a table. The pressure of being up there on that stage is humongous. And again, that's why I give her so much credit just for getting up there and giving her pitch. I think she did great with that.
Yeah, and she did a very good job. Her presence and how she delivered the message and answered the questions because she's very knowledgeable. So I think that was actually pretty good.
I thought she did great in the Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is always the hardest part.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing that we haven't talked about, you guys know me, I always about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. So she said all in 50 a key. Now, we're currently building a True in Redlands. It's 279 a key. So I got excited when she, pitched this to me with 50 a key. Any pros or cons to entering the market at 50 a key, or any concerns?
I don't think so because I think it's very good. But where the hotel sits, right off the corridor, and how many, that corridor of the highway right there, I think is one of the best deals. I mean, 50K.
50 a key sounds
130.
50 a key.
Yes,
so,
I think it's great.
Yeah.
That part sounds like a dream. Yeah.
Well, I bet there's women out there who may be interested in becoming a hotel owner and they don't know where to start. And so I think our application process opened up this week. And so if you're interested in becoming a hotel owner, you can go to SHaDPitch.com and apply. We'll start our education series in August. So we'll have a new class of today's woman. So if you are a seasoned professional, and whether you have experience in hospitality or you have experience in real estate or any business, come join us. We'll educate you on how to do it. Natasha, reached out to me. She was very interested. She came last year and watched, and then she's like, I'm going to do it. So any of you can actually do it. I came from healthcare, and so, you just have to learn. And so this was all started because I found it difficult to find this type of information, and that's why we created She Has a Deal. Any thoughts on that?
I'm excited. I might do it.
And I would say, as an alum, we get together, and so we have the SHAD alum, and we continue learning in this market as well. So just if you join and you go get on the stage, it's a continuing with Tracy, which is great for us because we continue to learn and we get together, and one day we'll have a SHAD collective hotel together.
Yeah,
so
Emily, why don't you tell everyone about the SHAD collective? She's leading that.
So we kind of keep getting together as a SHAD alumni group, and I think that's a very powerful thing, is to have each other to rely on as an alumni group. We're really relying on each other, our knowledge, our experience, because each of us have different experience. And again, like whether it's hotel operations or finance or construction, each of us brings something different to the table. So we're better as a collective. We're better as we get together. And so we've sort of said we're going to come together and work on things together and looking at deals differently, and having each of our expertise at the table is so important. And I think that's another great thing that SHAD has brought us, is by bringing us together and sharing this passion.
Yes. Well, we're going to hear from Venus Gervin, who is one of our SHAD alum. We have our Where Is She Now segment, so I'll be sitting down with her in a little bit and talk about a deal that we're doing. And the thing that I love the most about the community that we've built is that everyone comes together and helps one another. And I was thinking back to when Jenny, pitched her project and her project closed and launched, how many SHAD alum invested in the True by Hilton. So Emily, I think you were one of the investors, and even some of her own cohort investor who competed against her have put money into the deal. So it's so important to have investors that come into the deal. And so since we have a little bit more time, I want to talk about the fact that this platform, while we're a 501c3, the SHAD project that provides the education, we also are a for-profit as well, and we need investors. In order for the mission to work, we have to have capital. And what I continue to emphasize with a lot of people who are maybe not interested in actively investing or being a sponsor, but who are all interested in being a limited partner, please consider investing with the She Has a Deal women, because when you invest with us, not only do you earn the passive income and their projected return on investment, you're also helping to create social impact and transforming the industry. So by having more women in the industry, I think benefits the industry. So I believe when more women are owning and developing hotels, the industry is just going to explode with innovative growth, because right now the majority of the developers are males, and so more diversity around the female perspective, the female experience is really important. And I always say, because sometimes people think we're trying to just wipe out the men. We are not. We love men, but we just believe that there should be a little more mix of hormonal energy into the industry. So I just ask all of you, if you're interested in investing, consider investing in one of the SHAD women in one of the projects. We have 2 active deals right now at SheHasADeal.com. We have the True by Hilton we'll be building in Redlands. We should be breaking ground in about 30 days, and we still need $1 million, y'all. We need $1 million. So take out your phone. And we need $1 million to break ground next month, but we're really excited. We've raised $8 million of the $9 million that are needed, so that's a big accomplishment in itself. And then we also, you'll hear from Venus today, but we have the Peridot. Venus was on that stage last year and pitched a 60-room boutique hotel. It's a conversion in Georgia, and she'll talk more about it, but we are also raising $4.7 million. And the great thing about that deal is that you don't have to be accredited. So I know you all have been saying to me, Tracy, why do you have to be accredited? I'm not accredited. I want to get in. I want to get started on my wealth journey in real estate. So you can invest. We have a Reg CF offering as well as a Reg D offering. So Reg D for those who are accredited and a Reg CF for those who are not accredited. So many people are probably saying, so what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, so this is not SHAD's definition. Accredited comes from the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission. And so accredited means that you earn $200,000 or more annually, or you have $1 million in net worth or more. So you can invest in our Reg D offering. But if you don't, no worries. We have a Reg CF offering for you to invest in any of our deals. So please join us, because, again, we can't flourish, we can't increase the number of women owning and developing just by having a pitch competition. We need investors who invest in the projects. Any thoughts on that, ladies, or as an investor or as a supporter? Because HLA, you guys, I have to talk about this just a little bit. I don't like to bring up COVID, but I will tell you, as a small business owner owning hotels during COVID, it was frightening. And if it wasn't for HLA out there lobbying and helping to support hotel owners to get the PP money, more PP money, the idle, I don't know that we would have survived.
Yeah, I think it's in a time of crisis or challenging times when you really see the value of your trade association. We were working round the clock. It felt critical. It was life-saving in a way that wasn't what obviously emergency workers were doing at the same time, but our industry shut down essentially overnight. And so it was really a focused effort to see what kind of relief we could get to make sure that members in Congress understood the value of reopening hotels, bringing our employees back. I mean, every hotel basically had to let go their entire workforce overnight. That was, hundreds of thousands of millions of employees. We employed 2 million workers around the country. And I think, we're still dealing with that right now. I mean, immediately after, the reopening, we were down 600,000 jobs. We're still down 200,000 jobs. So really trying to ensure that, through our AHLA Foundation, we're focused on workforce recruitment and retention, supporting our industry in those efforts, trying to bring as many people back. In Washington, we're lobbying for H-2B visas to make sure that, especially those hotels in, resort or who deal with peak seasons, have the workforce that they need, and there's a cap on that. So fighting to make sure that the cap gets extended and exceeded, and that our members have access, because it's not just our members who are lobbying for those H-2B visas, but it's farmers as well. And so we want to make sure that we can support our employees.
Yeah, you also have some programs. So maybe our new hoteliers or those who are aspiring would want to know about some of the programming that you do to help educate and train our workforce.
Sure,
workforce
absolutely.
Is really big.
When it comes to retention, we work with the Department of Labor on an apprenticeship program. I love this program. We've been doing this for about 5 years. I think we've seen an over 90% retention rate of the employees who go through the program. And it takes work, it takes commitment. Certainly we're working with our management companies around the country to sign up the appropriate candidates for this, these roles. It helps people get to that next level in their career management program. And once you've gone through the program, you are automatically promoted and you get a raise at the end of the day. So there's certainly a benefit to that. You have to find the right candidates because it takes work. They have to do training, and it's coursework at night after your shifts. So, but we have seen that there really is stickiness to doing this program. And then when it comes to recruitment, I think one of the programs that we love the most is our Empowering Youth program, which finds youth who have kind of dropped out of school, they don't have a job, they're not really sure what career path to take. And so we work with partnership groups, nonprofits around the country who train them for entry-level jobs in the industry, and then we pair them with our members who will hire them and provide them surround sound support to go through that program.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I really wanted you to sit at my chat talk table.
Thank you.
Because I think, as I entered, I didn't have the exposure. I came from healthcare, and HLA has really been a warm, welcoming body to help me as a small business owner with workforce, with any type of resources, just understanding the government regulations and making sure that that voice of the small hotelier is heard and recognized by our legislators. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for joining. I think you're going to come back for the next Shad Talk table.
For the next one.
Yeah. All right. Well, Emily, Teresa, thanks for joining. I'll probably see you guys later as well. I think we're ready for that next pitch. All right. So coming to the floor. No? Taraj is coming back. Okay. Well, Taraj,
awesome.
toss it back
Thank
to
you, Tracy, and that Shad Talk table. That was awesome. All right, now we're ready for our second pitch. Up next, the visionary behind Kinesi Hospitality, blending design, strategy, and a passion for meaningful experiences. Lali Suliea, welcome to the stage.
I'm Lali Soulier. I'm from the West Coast, and I am the managing partner for Kinesi Hospitality. It means heritage and legacy that I'm creating through this business. We believe that with an abundance mentality, solutions are created where everyone wins. And I love this and will live by it as I move forward and keep putting together hotel deals, because I want everyone that comes to the table and that's part of the hotel deal to win in one way or another and to have everyone succeed. SHAD has helped me change personally because it has helped me to become more confident in my own skill sets and be able to develop them in new ways. I have loved the luminaries, the networking, the education, and how it's all helping me to achieve my goals of hotel ownership. So many things about hotels specifically are just a great fit for my natural skill sets. I absolutely love everything about design and about networking, putting together teams, the strategy, the research, and especially coming up with a vision and being able to carry it out. I am excited to acquire, develop, and asset manage a portfolio of hard brand hotels for the next 5 years. That's my plan.
From Southern Oregon, with an ambitious goal to acquire and develop a portfolio of hard brand hotels over the next 5 years, please welcome Lolly Solier.
Good morning. I'm excited to share my hotel investment deal with you today. I've been working on a motel to upscale hotel conversion in Reno, Nevada. Let me introduce you to the property. So currently the property is Lake Mill Lodge Motel. It's 121 rooms, 2 parcels with conjoined buildings, over 55,000 square feet. It was built in 1966 and has 2 stories of parking lots on both towers. You can see the conjoined buildings a little better in that picture. So the value in this property really is in the location. It is just 1 block from the Truckee River and the Riverwalk District in Reno, and it also straddles Midtown and has a walkability score of 90. There are multiple demand drivers in every segment in Reno, and I know this is a full slide, but I wanted to show that all of these are within walking distance of the property, which is pretty amazing. There's so many direct demand drivers downtown. So why Northern Nevada? So the tax advantages, the livability factors, and the business assistance programs make it a great place for many iconic companies like the ones you see here, Tesla, Google. They have a lot of corporate offices in Reno because of these factors. Plus, it's in the top 5 sunniest cities in the US. So great weather is a plus also. They host events year-round in Reno. It's a happening place. They have the Nevada State Fair, the Reno Rodeo, lots of art stuff. It's a very artsy town. And they have jazz festivals, and as you can see in this picture, the Great Balloon Race every year. So it is not a seasonal market. They have year-round demand. They're also not bound by city limits in Reno. So Reno is the gateway to Tahoe and the Sierra Nevadas. This is my family skiing and boarding up at Tahoe. We absolutely love it up there. It's so gorgeous. And so because it is 8 minutes from the airport, my property, and the airport is called the Reno Tahoe Airport, it's also a great gateway to the Sierras, and also Carson City, which is the capital city of Nevada. So benchmark data shows that hotel revenues in Reno have doubled since 2017. So this shows that the market's very strong and had a great comeback from COVID years. CoStar also projected an average of 3% RevPAR growth for specifically upscale and upper mid-scale properties in the Reno market. So that's fantastic news for our property. There's also some good news for market competition. So there's strict laws in downtown Reno that limit and prohibit Airbnbs, one of our greatest competitors. So that's great. There's also high demand for lifestyle non-gaming hotels in the area for business travelers, families that are coming in. And there are 2 pipeline properties that will be direct competitors with our hotel. They're coming into the market in this year and the next spring. So before ours, about 2 years before we open because of conversion. And so they will absorb some of the growth that I'm talking about, but we did underwrite for these properties coming on. And great news is that in Reno, revenues and RevPAR historically increased even with the added supply. So this property has had a rough time recently. So last October, it was shut down by the health department. And so currently it's not in operation. And so I'm looking at this property and I have a plan to take it from this current poor state that it's in to be valued at over $50 million in 10 years. My deal thesis is a four-step process. First, I will acquire Lake Mill Lodge in Reno, Nevada for $13 million with $3 million down and a 2-year seller carry during construction years. Second, I will develop the motel for $15 million within 28 months into an upscale hotel and franchise with a strong brand. Third, I will operate opening in fall 2027 with elite property management and scale the NOI to exceed $3.5 million in 12 months. Fourth, I will exit selling the hotel in 2035 for over $50 million and over 3 times multiple on invested capital with opportunity zone capital gains tax savings. So first, I'm working intently to acquire this motel. Financial feasibility is showing that there's a projected $33 million of capital needed for this project, and that comes out to $279,000 per key. Our capital stack sources and uses for that will include 35% total equity, which 6% will be coming from Knesset Hospitality, my investment firm, and 94% of that will come from our equity partners, with a senior loan bringing 65% of the capital. We will use this in the following ways for acquisition hard and soft costs, and the closing costs are so high on here because that includes the interest during the construction years that we will be needing to pay. So I am reaching out to commercial lenders for that 65%, advertising on Bridge Marketplace. And one thing that's really attractive about this project for commercial lending is that we have a debt service coverage ratio of 1.97% from years 4 to 10 projected. So there's an investment opportunity here with our private equity, and we're needing to raise $11,350,000 for this project. I am going to offer a Regulation D 506C offering for accredited investors only, with minimum investment thresholds for individuals at $200,000 and legal entities at $1 million. And this will be offered through our investment portal. We have some pretty strong returns projected, and I'm excited about these. So the multiple on invested capital is nearly 4 times on this project. Average cash-on-cash return, almost 12%, and total average cash-on-cash return, 39%, with an IRR of 16%. And remember that a lot of times when these numbers are projected, they're before tax, but these are without the capital gains tax. So we have that capital gains tax savings on these returns. Let me speak really quick to the cash-on-cash return, the total average. So it came in at 11%, but that is because the first 3 years, there will be a 0% return because we will be converting the property and ramping up and stabilizing the income. And so from years 4 to 10, the return will be from 14 to 22%, with a promote split on any cash flows coming in on those projected returns of 30% to sponsor, 70% investors on those. So I personally walked the property with the broker and the area, and it confirmed what a massive opportunity there is here and what a huge benefit it would be to the community to uplift this property. And I'm excited about that. And it also showed that the best use of this rooftop area with the city and mountain and river views will be a rooftop restaurant, which we're excited about. So I have put in a letter of intent to purchase this property. I'm in negotiations with the owner on a few different terms, and I just heard back from them on Tuesday. So we're working toward a purchase and sale agreement to get in place on this property, which is super exciting. So my second step after we get that purchase and sale agreement in place will be to develop the property. We are going to do this by involving best-in-class hospitality specialized development team. And I've been working with FFKR Architects. I've met with them a few times. They're fantastic. They've done several of these similar projects before, including this AC in Salt Lake City. But most recently, they converted a a historic building down in downtown Phoenix into a Moxie by Marriott, and they just did a fantastic, beautiful job. So I have all confidence that they will do such a job like this on our property in Reno. So working with them, we will determine the architectural and civil engineering feasibility of this project during a 60 days due diligence time after we get that PSA signed, and we will get a property condition assessment. There has been a lot of work done with the broker already to determine some of the basic feasibility that we will need for this, which is great news. So with this group, we've been putting together a construction timeline and a budget, and it's looking like we can do this within 28 months, which is exciting, less than a new build, and so we can get to those cash flows sooner. I have also added 5% contingencies on the hard and soft costs in this budget for conversion, just as an added protection, and it brings the total construction budget to over $15 million. So speaking back to this opportunity zone, so we have up to 18 to 24% savings on capital gains tax on the back end from a federal level. But speaking to Nevada State, they do not impose state income tax or capital gains tax. So there's savings at the state level and the federal level. Plus, the city of Reno has a lot of local incentives for opportunity zones, and those incentives include streamlined permitting that can assist us with meeting construction timelines, which is really, really attractive for us. So lots of people are asking me, what is the difference between a motel and a hotel? Because I'm saying I'm taking this motel and we're converting it to this upscale hotel property. Well, there's several key differences between these, but the one that is the biggest difference for this property is room access. So room access for motels is usually through an exterior, and hotels is usually an interior corridor. So this property currently has open exterior on the inside of both of the towers. And so how we're going to do that is we're going to add glass atrium ceilings, much like the hotel we're in today, and enclose that exterior corridor, making it interior access and hotel standard. So branding, a strong brand franchise. We are looking at upscale lifestyle experience-based brands. And these are our top 3 right now that we're looking at: Tribute by Marriott, Caption by Hyatt, and Temple by Hilton. We think all of these would be a home run. They're fantastic brands. We're just weighing out some of the different benefits and challenges each of these brands would bring to this project and to the market specifically. So then we'll go ahead and operate this hotel once we open in fall 2027. And we are operating with best-in-class property management. So I've been working with Melinda and Helene over at Concord Hospitality. They are fantastic, and they've helped me a lot with the feasibility of this project, especially with projecting demand and projecting the expenses. So Concord Hospitality they manage over 100 hotels nationwide, and here's a few of the lifestyle and full-service hotels that they already manage. They're fantastic. I've also brought in best-in-class financial and legal teams on board. Let me speak to the STR comp set. So I did have a struggle finding just the right comp set for this property, and the reason being some of the independent hotels that might be more of a direct competitor, they don't participate in the comp set. And so I brought in these hotels, which are kind of lower mid-scale or mid-scale, and we're wanting to come in on the higher end of, lower and mid upscale. We're wanting to come in at the higher end of upscale. And so working with Concord to just really solidify that ADR, we have a comp set historical performance of 108 RevPAR projected for this specific comp set. But projecting out to 2027 with that 3% growth that I mentioned from CoStar, that will bring that up to 114% RevPAR in 2027. So we're coming in at 116 market penetration index. So we're coming in a little higher than that mid-market or the averages with our projections. And the feasibility team at Concord gave me a thumbs up on that number, and I got their support because we are looking at that $180 ADR. But I did do an elasticity analysis to see that there's room in the market for us to even exceed our conservative underwriting. And so this benchmark report shows that in the luxury and upper upscale, that it can come in at 252 average ADR in this Reno market. And so I dropped our occupancy to 65 and I took it to $230 ADR, which is still $22 less than the average here. And that brought all of our returns up in the following ways. And so we do know that we are conservative underwriting and there is room to overperform what we have underwritten with this property in the market. We have multiple revenue streams planned for this project, F&B and other operations. We're going to have a rooftop restaurant, paid parking, a market, some local products, some brand merchandise, and bike rentals. And these are projected to generate over $1 million in revenue each year. Financial feasibility for operations shows that we'll have a 3.8 net operating income. And with any investment, there's risks. We're doing a few things to mitigate those risks, including having a lender reserve account, the due diligence I mentioned, and a 5-year PIP plan that we're holding 5% each year from our strong cash flows in an FF&E reserve account. And this will allow us to have $2.3 million on year 5 for a soft goods PIP. So last, we'll sell the hotel in 2035 with a net operating income projected at 4.2 and CoStar projected cap rate at 8%, and we'll be able to list it for $51.7 million. It's an exciting time to be investing in hotels. Please scan my QR code. It will take you to my website, KinnesiHospitality.com. Click on current projects and you can put in your email to keep up to date on this deal and to be notified when our investment portal is live. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
great
you.
job. Great pitch. Judges, her slides, I think, got a little messed up. That was a production error, so that's not on you. That's
you.
on us.
No problem.
And so, all right,
You guys
what
are-
questions do we have? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Lolly, great job.
Thank you.
Really nice job. Can you walk me through your franchise management and asset management fees? I saw that you were ramping up your franchise fees from 2.5% to 4.5%.
Yes.
But I'm not seeing any management fees and only 2% asset management. So where's Concord's expenses?
Okay, they should be in there. The 3% for Concord should be in there. It wasn't?
No.
Okay, so that was an error on my part. But the franchise fees, we do, we see that with SHAD program, we are able to get a ramp for that usually. And so we wrote in the ramp from the 2.4 to 4%
So
on that.
your assumption is that even though you're still negotiating your brand, you're assuming that 2.5. That's fine. And then the asset management fees is an internal fee?
Yes, so that will be an internal for Kinnesi Hospitality for managing the asset.
Yep, fixture management.
Okay, sounds good. Totally.
Matt.
Lolly, great job.
Thank you.
It's an exciting project for sure. I did notice that you're coming out of the gates pretty aggressively at 74% for year one. Can you kind of discuss how you're getting to that number right away?
Yes, so the market is very strong right now. Across the street is the Renaissance Motel, and they are getting over 84% with their occupancy. And so we feel like we're coming in underneath that, and we'll share some of their overflow. They are sometimes at 100% occupancy at certain times of the year. So we're coming in strong because of that, and because they're the multiple demand drivers that we mentioned, and because some of the comp sets that I was looking at are higher than that. And so we felt like we could come in pretty strong right off the bat.
Okay. And is that a Renaissance full-service hotel?
It is a
I didn't
full
notice it in
service.
the comp set, so.
Yes, it's a full service. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Well
Yeah,
done.
thank you.
Appreciate it. I calculated that the projected sales price is about $430,000 a key. Do you feel that the trend in sales comps will support that exit plan?
Yes, so I have been looking at the sales comps for hotels like this. They don't sell very often there. They're more buy and hold there. But it does support that because there are several of the lifestyle, more independent ones that have been turning over, and they are at the higher rate, more of the 400 plus. Yeah, thank you.
Jim.
Ditto. Well done.
Thank you.
what I really liked is you put together a pretty solid team, right, to help you navigate these waters.
Thank you.
Matt and Mimi stole my two questions.
Yeah.
But if I may, just one follow-on to Matt's. Occupancy was one thing, right? But I reacted more to the rate. You'll come out of the gates, at $180 ADR, which is roughly 20% higher than the comp set. Also, it's a stub year, it's a partial year. So, you know, I think you may want to revisit that. There has to be some sort of ramp. We don't turn on the lights and you're outperforming the comp set by 20%. So something to think of.
Okay, thank you.
The 279 a key in the market causes me concern, right? I think you would probably need to start to get the upscale to upper upscale rates and not that middle tier, which was in that 150 rate, give or take, plus 75-80% OCC.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the advice. Yes, and I agree that a strong team is the strength of the deal.
Lolly, thank you. I love
Yes.
the vision.
Oh, thank you.
Beyond what my fellow judges have called out, one thing that stuck out to me is the hard cost, the FF&E, the soft cost associated with this deal.
Yes.
Just given the transformational nature of it, you know, you have a new rooftop
Heavy lift.
F&B venue. I assume you're going to have to do some elevator rework. You have the atrium ceilings. What has been informing your cost estimates to date?
Yes, so I met with the architect team from FFKR, and also the broker is a GC also, and he has done a lot of work. He walked the property for 60 hours with different teams, and he put together a projected price and with the atrium ceilings and the elevators that you mentioned. And so that has been informing us, and then I added that 5% contingency on both hard and soft costs, and so that we can cover a little bit of a buffer there. But that's where I've been getting informed, is through conversations with them.
My recommendation with where you are right now in your
Yeah.
planning is carrying a 10% contingency instead of a 5% contingency, especially
Okay.
given the uncertainty around tariffs and things like that.
Sure.
And then the other piece is, I know that your PCA has not yet been performed.
Yes.
Just given the age of the building and how it was operated previously, you know, there may be some mechanical needs that are more core and shell related to the building
Sure.
that you might need to factor in on that. Is
Thank
there
you.
any intent to use the results of the PCA to negotiate down the sale price of the building?
Oh, yes, yes. So we will be doing that first in our due diligence process, and other high-risk things we will address right away, just in case there's a deal breaker. So we will be able to negotiate during those 60 days of due diligence and be able to bring down our purchase price.
Great.
They have found asbestos already. We've already addressed that. It is in our budget for construction.
Okay.
And so we're just working on those most high-risk things first.
Yeah, Cinderellas are never easy, but thank you, Lolly. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, judges.
Yes.
Thank you, Lolly.
Yeah.
I'm going to look to the audience for questions. We got one right
Yes.
here. We got a mic.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
So in the beginning of your presentation, you talked about the condition that the motel is in right now.
Yes.
And it was shut down. So I have a little bit of experience with hotels that have shady, characters hanging around. So can you walk us through what makes you think you can actually demand, or that you'll get the client profile that you're looking for once you have renovated to become an upscale hotel? Have you been in conversations with the city or?
Yes, thank you. So like I mentioned, the Renaissance across the street, the museums, the entire area, like speaking with people when I was walking there, they said, please do something with this property because it really is the eyesore of the neighborhood. And so uplifting that to match everything around it. So I feel like the demand or the attractiveness of the area will bring people to the hotel because it's such an attractive place to stay and so close to the river and the bike rentals, and so things like that will bring people to our hotel because everything around it's beautiful, and so we'll be able to uplift it to match everything around it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All righty. Oh, am I allowed to get one more in? Okay, one more. Where was that? Oh, over here.
Thanks.
Taylor.
Right.
So you're planning to take it to an upper upscale hotel. I was wondering if you've worked with Concord to look at, in that market, if there is enough demand for that more luxury, high-skilled customers. You mentioned the Renaissance is kind of the peak performer there.
Thank
and real
you.
quickly, Lolly, I'm going to
Yeah.
just repeat the question for the audience. Is
Okay.
the demand going to the upper upscale, working with Concord to ensure that there is that demand for that ADR?
Yes, and we've been looking at the data for the area, and like I said, it's a growth market. The greatest growth is in the luxury upper upscale space, and that they are seeing in the data over the last 5 years, especially from COVID time, is really scaled. And because it's so close to Tahoe and other attractions like that, people stay in town on the side of that trip there. So there definitely is, like I said, the greatest growth in the upper upscale and luxury space, so that's encouraging.
Awesome. All right. And I think we're good to go. Lolly, a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you
you
very
so
much.
much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty. Now, for everyone in the room, again, and tuning in online, it's time to rate Lolly's pitch. Remember, your rating counts for 5% of the final score. I want you to go ahead and scan that QR code to rate Lolly's pitch. And also, as a reminder, your rating enters you into the raffle for some amazing prizes from our sponsor. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do your pitch, and then head backstage to the Thajal to chat with Lolly.
Hi again, everyone. I have Lolly, who just stepped off the stage pitching her project. Great job.
Thank you.
The first question that came to mind for me was, your company actually sponsors scholarships, Teens for Positive Impact, and service projects for teens. So how do you envision this property interacting with the local community?
Oh, I love that. Thank you for that question. Yes, so I have 5 children and a house full of teenagers right now, and so that's why I started this program for teenagers. And I would love to include it in any way that I can in any market that we're in. So I'm building a portfolio of hotels across the U.S. This is my first one. And so I hope to include it in every market that we go into. It's just an opportunity for teens to come in. They create a service project from scratch. And so we're building leaders as well. And so they're able to look at their community, see what can you do to benefit the community. They figure it out and they make it happen.
I love that. And a little bit about you. So you have actually done a lot of education programs, and you've mastered them. You've done Fortune Builders, you've done Steve Rushmore's Hotel Evaluation Certification, you've done Family Office you've done Invest Her. I'm going to stop naming because I sound like a stalker, but why continue doing these programs, and why participate in Today's Women?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I've had a really fun entrepreneurial journey that's just taken me on turns I didn't expect. And so I started as a passive investor, and going to the conferences, I learned the benefits of active investing. So then I went to residential investing, and then I found hotels, and I could not find the right mentorship or the right program until I found Tracy and Shad, and it's been incredible to learn the entire comprehensive process of hotel investing and sponsoring a hotel deal, and I'm so grateful.
Well, you're truly mastering everything. So
thank you.
Congratulations. Now you can take a deep breath and just relax.
Thank you so much.
And now we have a few words from our next sponsor, Choice.
Only one woman for every 9.4 men holds investment or development positions in the hospitality industry, and the number of female hotel owners is not representative of the industry's diverse consumers. This is because female entrepreneurs have access to less financing than men and get smaller loans at higher interest rates on average. It's time to rebalance the scales of opportunity. As an organization who has been at the forefront of empowerment in hospitality for over 20 years, Choice Hotels is now investing more than ever to help women become a force in the industry. Introducing Hotels by Choice Hotels, a program designed by women for women to make the dream of hotel ownership more attainable for women worldwide. It's our mission to support and empower female entrepreneurs through dedicated training, turnkey solutions, and financial guidance. To reach underrepresented groups, Choice Hotels remains the first and only hotel company with dedicated personnel solely focused on extending opportunities in hotel ownership. And with more women investors, enthusiasts, innovators, and up-and-comers in the hospitality industry than ever before, there's never been a better time than now. Hotels by Choice Hotels, building equity through hospitality.
Welcome back to Shad Talk. I'm Tracy Prigmore, the founder of She Has a Deal. I'm sitting here with Rosanna Maeta, Ebony Jones, and Jenny Jackman. Ladies, all I can say after that pitch for Lolly is bravado, okay? So she went from looking at economy to this $33 million project, and I'm so proud of her stretching. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, as the person who knows the least about how to operate a business, I thought it was very bold. I thought she did a great job in understanding the neighborhood in particular, and recognizing that with especially the rooftop, you know that's what you could attract locals as well. But I had the same thought as one of the judges pointed out, just the uncertainty around tariffs and how is that going to impact renovation costs. It's a big renovation price tag. So that was something I'd be worried
about. It's on all of our minds. How about you, Ebony? You're the construction guru on the table here.
Yeah, so as a general contractor, I did have concerns for the $66K construction budget she had dedicated to hard costs. Given the large overall for converting from a hotel to downscale, part of the total project cost, $33 million, and most of it was dedicated to the acquisition. So just as a tip, I would say maybe explore other opportunities in the market. Doesn't have to be a hotel, it could be a tear down. You know, just given the total project cost and the timeline she had for her project, it's comparable to a new build.
You're going to pull Tracy.
I had some of those same concerns.
You can make that part of the conversation. Tracy can
for me, the market
She's going to make that
super
walk.
exciting.
And you're going to introduce
the Reno
you
growth
come
in
from the
general is
back,
amazing,
okay?
and
So you
the
can bring
opportunity
both
zone
of
is
them.
very
Okay,
interesting.
I'll just
Usually, opportunity zones
do
don't
that
really have
after I do the intro of it, or after, or before.
kind of first mover, but here there's some good
You've
neighbors,
seen what's
as well
possible
as
in the
the
pitch
opportunity
phase.
zone
Do you want me to bring them on stage?
So for me, it boils down
And then
to
do it at the end.
what
Okay.
the
You'll see the introduction
Yep.
for them.
Yep.
You can just incorporate, all right, Tracy,
Yep.
and we'll
And
start
so
her
that's
over.
going to be
Great.
super important during the due diligence period to really understand that, because if it's poor and the bones aren't as great as we think they are, then it's really not feasible. So that's very important. But other than that, super exciting project.
Thanks for the feedback. So Ebony, you know, you were on the stage this time last year and came out with a win. How does it feel to be on the other side?
It's weird because I have more nerves now than when I was on stage, so it's just nice being on the other side of it. But I think I'm feeling what they're going through, whereas I was just in a state of shock last year and I didn't feel anything. But it was transformative. My life is different. I feel different, and I'm just grateful for the experience. And I'm sure they're so relieved to have done it, and I'm hoping they're proud of the work they've done.
Yeah, I'm very proud of all of them. Well, ladies, thank you for joining me. I know, Rosanna, you're going to go back to work and help save the industry.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll see you, Jenny, on our She Did It panel later, and Ebony, you'll be back on the Shad Talk. So thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Now, we've seen what is possible in this pitch phase. Now let's hear what's possible beyond it. Please welcome, join me in welcoming Tracy Prigmore, the founder of She Has a Deal, and Venus Gervin of Emerald Hospitality. Tracy, I want you to make your way on up. I think Venus is there. They are going to share a conversation about Venus's journey from pitch to ownership.
Hey, Tracy.
Hi, Venus. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Wow. What a difference a year makes.
Yes.
What a difference a year makes. So you were on the stage this time last year.
Sure was.
You were pitching a 60-key boutique conversion.
Exactly.
Another bravado move. But you have that background, right? So tell us just a little bit about your background and what brought you to She Has a Deal.
So my name is Venus Gervin. I'm an architect. I've been an architect for about 20 years now, and I've worked on everything from sports to hospitality to convention centers. And so the past couple of years, I've been working on adaptive reuse projects, and that is taking a building that was erected for one purpose and converting that to a different purpose. And so I've been taking old historic buildings and converting them to luxury hotels. And so that's how I kind of learned about the SHAD program, and that's how I found Tracy.
Yeah, so I mean actually, this is a piece of cake compared to your day job.
It is.
In the conversion. So let's talk a little bit about the project. So you pitched it, didn't know what brand that you were going to choose for that project, and now a brand's been selected, franchise agreements in hand. Tell us how you came to the decision to make it a Hyatt destination property for your boutique.
Oh, sure. Well, we were in negotiations with a couple of different brands, namely Wyndham, Hilton, and Hyatt. We had very good experiences with all of them. But what kind of sealed the deal for me was when the Hyatt people came to the property. They had a vision for the property that was even higher than the vision that I had for the property. And so that really impressed me there. And so that's why we ended up with Destination by Hyatt. And then everything about the brand personality matched what I was trying to do with this property.
Wonderful. And, I'm so excited to be sitting here as your partner in the transformation of this, what was an assisted living facility, but it was a hotel when it was built and was converted to an assisted living facility. And the journey that we've been on to come up with an actual brand, because Hyatt Destination allows you, it's like a soft brand, it allows you to put your own unique brand on it. So can you talk about the vision for it? Why, this hotel, tell us a little bit about the location and how you see it playing out through renovations, because there's a lot to come.
Oh, sure. So the location is in Henry County. It's one of the fastest growing counties year over year. It's right in a transfer hub connecting the Port of Savannah with the with the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. And so in this particular location, it's a very affluent area. However, the hotels along that strip are mostly geared toward transient travelers, so there's no upper upscale offering. So this will be the first hotel in the upper upscale asset class, and so that's what we want to capture. We want to capture that unmet demand. It's also located right next to a country club and golf course facility. And so we are going to partner with that country club so that the guests at our hotel will be able to use the country club's amenities. They have tennis courts, pickleball courts, swimming pools, fitness center, and of course 3 golf courses there. So a guest will be able to stay at our hotel, buy a day resort pass, and get that real resort luxury feeling.
Yeah, as a select service owner, I'm like, well, and I look at the aerial view, I'm like, we're going to own a resort, kind of. Because everything is just, one
right
lot. It's a gated property. How many acres?
It's 7 acres of land. It'll be a 60-key facility.
So let's talk about, because this is an exciting project for all y'all who, look at me, and I'm not even Southern.
We'll make you a Southern.
I will be, right? So this is Georgian estate that we're acquiring. Yeah. So let's talk about the brand. So that was a process. We worked with Monogram. That was a process. It was a fun process, though.
It was.
Can you talk about how we, the name and what the vision for the experience and when guests come to the hotel?
Yeah, so we've used a branding agency called Monogram, and they are based out of Las Vegas. So they work with all of the big hotels on the Vegas Strip. And so we felt that they were a really good partner for us. And so they've helped us come up with this brand. And we're going to be gracious, we're going to be social, we're going to be immersive. And so the name that we settled on, we went through this whole kind of naming round where we came up with several names for naming options for the hotel. And we had several investor meetups on the property, and we allowed the potential investors to select the name that they preferred. And so this was one of our top choices, but it ended up also being the choice that was favored mostly by the investors at the meetup. So the name of the hotel is called the Peridot Hotel, and it is a green gem, and it means renewal and good times ahead. And so we felt that was very fitting for what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, it's, the thing I love about this community, it's a very diverse community. I think like a third is Black or African American, a third is Asian American, and a third is Caucasian. So we really want to be welcoming, to everyone. And so in the design process, we have that in mind, and we want to be that place for people to come and have their guests stay there, but also come and have a drink, have a meal, just have a business meeting, meet up with friends and family. It's a beautiful community behind the country club, so I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. Let's talk money, though, because this project, to me, it's a value-add project, right?
Absolutely.
Like taking this, you guys, when I go there, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, what's good? We gotta get going on the renovation. Definitely needs some work, but let's talk about the numbers, because we need investors, right?
We do.
You have a Reg D offering, a Reg C offering that anyone in the room can be an investor. Tell them about the numbers and why this is not just a good deal to uplift women, from She Has a Deal, uplift women in real estate, in hotel real estate, but it's a good deal potentially for your pocket.
Exactly. And so we are doing a capital raise. We need about $4.7 million, as Tracy already previously mentioned, but we're projecting some really strong returns for this deal. We're at a 21% IRR, a 14% cash on cash, and a 2.5 multiple on this deal. So we really need investments, and we're not asking for charity. This is a real investment opportunity with real strong projected returns, and with a real social mission behind it also.
Yeah. How can they find out about the investment? I want everybody to pull out their phones.
I know. Pull out your phones. Go to investwithshad.com. That's INVESTWITHSHAD. Investwithshad.com.
And you don't have to have a lot of money, because we have a Reg CF. The minimum's $2,500 for the Reg CF. But we like it if you do a Reg D, if you're accredited. Minimum is $25,000, which, as you guys know, some of my investors out there, that our minimums are usually $50,000. This is only $25,000, so it's a great opportunity to get in on a value-add deal with some double-digit multiples. I think it's a no-brainer.
Right. Come check us out. Investwithshad.com.
Yeah, and you can use your retirement fund, so no cash, no worries. We are structured. You can use your trust, or you can use your self-directed IRA, where you use your retirement funds to invest in the offering. So check us out at investwithshad.com. Any last words before we go? This is Venus. This is Where Is She Now at SHaDPitch 2025.
No, I just want to thank everyone for everyone's support so far. I see David Attardi in the audience. He was a big help to us.
Don't forget Jim Tierney.
Yeah, everybody.
From Hyatt, yes.
Yes, and I mean, this is this whole SHAD program has really culminated into a really good next stage in my professional life cycle. So I would recommend anyone who's out there considering the program, please come on and join.
Congratulations, Venus. You have put in so much work. I'm so proud of you to see where you started. And you are commanding every step of the process.
Yes.
You're taking control. I love it.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
This is your last chance to invest in the Peridot Hotel before the investment doors close. We're converting a classic senior living facility into a modern Georgian estate, blending Southern hospitality with crafted indulgence. Next to the prestigious Eagles Landing Country Club and Golf Course, where guests may enjoy resort-style amenities. Projected cash-on-cash returns you don't want to miss. 18% IRR and 2.5 times your investment. Investment minimums starting at $2,500. No available cash to invest right now? No problem. Invest with your retirement or trust accounts. It's an easy rollover process with no penalties. Investment doors are closing. Don't miss out. Secure your stake in the Peridot Hotel today.
Again to Tracy and Venus for that conversation. It was truly inspiring and is such a powerful reminder of what happens when vision turns into reality and to when we invest in women in this space. Venus, we are cheering you on every single step of the way. All right. Now, let's keep the momentum going with our third contestant of the day, representing Cedarstone Ventures in Long Beach, California, Camilla Holmes.
Hi, I'm Camilla Holmes of Long Beach, California, and I'm the founder of Cedarstone Ventures. When I was a little girl, I told my mom, when I grow up, I want to live in a hotel. It's like an adventure. Since I bought my first house, there's something about it appealed to me. Real estate always has seemed like a solid investment to me. I never really thought of hotel ownership because I had no idea. When you don't know about anything, you can't see yourself there. Right?
Are you on this one?
This is something that's
I'm calling you out.
almost completely outside of my wheelhouse. I was starting from zero, so I've basically learned everything I know about hotel ownership from this program. I can do it knowing that, I'm capable. I can do this. I can take the information I have and to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah.
What season were you?
Myself was something I'm taking away.
Great. Okay.
With a passion for hotels and a vision for sustainable impact, she's focused on select service and extended stay investments. Please welcome Camilla Holmes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. In the next 15 minutes, I will present a compelling investment opportunity in the hospitality sector with a tremendous potential for growth and profitability. My thesis revolves around acquiring a newly remodeled Holiday Inn Express in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I'm seeking to raise $2.5 to $3 million in equity, which will be complemented by $5 million in debt. I will take questions at the end of my presentation. As a savvy investor, you're always looking for opportunities for investments that provide a solid return and tangible benefit. Today, I will present a unique opportunity that not only stands out in the market, but is backed by strong demand drivers and impressive performance metrics. Investing in this property is not just a financial decision, it's an opportunity to be a part of an emerging hospitality market that caters to a diverse clientele and community. Welcome to the Holiday Inn Express in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. This property is a 67-key property centrally located within many demand drivers in Okmulgee, Oklahoma off the US 75. This Holiday Inn Express has consistently outperformed its comp set in key metrics such as occupancy rate, average daily rate, and RevPAR. With recent remodeling completed between 2023 and 2024, this property is cash flow stable and positioned to capture an even greater share of the market. There are no other IHG properties within 25 miles, and there's no new hotel supply planned in the area. This investment is anticipated to yield an ROI of 13.4% annual cash-on-cash return, a remarkable 28.74% IRR, and a 3.04x multiple on invested capital. Currently, this property is owner-operated and managed with no marketing manager. With this property, I intend to collaborate with a professional hotel management company to maximize efficiencies in operation and expenses and revenue management to increase RevPAR and evaluate opportunities to raise ADR, thus increasing NOI. I also intend to maximize sales and marketing strategies, building relationships within the community to take full advantage of opportunities to drive increased occupancy and revenue from both current and emerging demand drivers. More on these in a minute. If you're anything like me, you may be wondering, where in the world is Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and what's going on there? Well, surprise, a lot's going on. As to the where, Okmulgee lies in the county seat of Okmulgee County, Oklahoma, just a stone's throw, 38 miles south of Tulsa and 104 miles from Oklahoma City. Okmulgee may be a small town, but it's rich in business activity. Business demand drivers include a commuter workforce in logistics and transportation. Over 4,000 workers commute into Okmulgee each day from surrounding areas from over 20 Oklahoma communities as far as 185 miles away. This commuter population will require lodging, especially for extended projects and during inclement weather. The presence of numerous truck driver positions in and around Okmulgee indicate a robust logistics and transportation sector. This industry often requires short-term accommodation for drivers and associated personnel. Okmulgee also has a large and robust manufacturing base. 11% of Okmulgee's workforce is in manufacturing as compared to 7.8 nationwide average. Notably, 5 local powerhouse manufacturers distribute their products globally, attracting business travelers and contributing to hotel occupancy. Fortunately, the Holiday Inn Express, Okmulgee, is located at the center of this commerce and manufacturing and primed to benefit from all commerce present and emerging flowing through Okmulgee. Up here you can see some of the manufacturers in Okmulgee, all located from between half-mile away from the Holiday Inn Express to 14 miles away, with most within a 4-mile radius. With the Holiday Inn Express being conveniently located to so much commerce, it's an easy choice for people visiting Okmulgee for business in need of accommodations. Okmulgee also hosts several institutional demand drivers. The Muskogee Nation headquarters is located half-mile away from the Holiday Inn Express, Okmulgee. This is the beating heart of tribal government for Muskogee Nation and the nation's capital. The headquarters building, known as the Muskogee Creek Nation Complex, houses the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the tribal government, along with various support services. The Muskogee Nations have been making significant investment in the area, including new office location and infrastructure projects. Such developments lead to an increased business travel and the need for lodging facilities. But wait, there's more. Okmulgee is also home to Oklahoma State University Institute of Technology, OSUT, located 2 miles away from the Holiday Inn Express on a 160-acre campus. OSUT attracts students, faculty, visitors, and initiatives like OSUT's expanded STEM education program further enhances the institution's appeal, increasing demand for local accommodations. The Greene County Technology Center provides career training in Okmulgee and is located 2.3 miles away from the Holiday Inn Express. The Muskogee Creek Nation Medical Center is 2.9 miles away from the Holiday Inn Okmulgee. It's an acute care center that houses Okmulgee County's only outpatient cardiac rehab program, along with other inpatient and outpatient services. Research shows that rural medical centers such as this rely heavily on traveling nurses who need housing. A quick internet search yields multiple openings for traveling nurses within multiple hospital departments in Okmulgee. With the presence of such a robust manufacturing culture and institutional demand drivers, we can anticipate a steady influx of visitors who require accommodations. In addition to the existing industries, there are new demand drivers emerging that are expected to enhance business and the need for accommodations in Okmulgee. Oklahoma is actively engaging the music and film industry through incentives such as various rebate programs through the Filmed in Okmulgee Act. This initiative is boosting the state's film sector, with Okmulgee being one of 33 film-friendly certified communities in Oklahoma. As production crews flock to the area, there's a growing need for accommodation for those coming to work in Okmulgee. Notable productions like the Reservation Dogs series and Sarah's Oil have already been filmed there. Okmulgee is also preparing for 3 new industrial parks, offering a total of 500 acres for development, which is expected to increase traffic to the Holiday Inn Express, catering to housing construction workers and personnel during the building phase, as well as business visitors post-completion. The first is the Okmulgee Business Complex. This is owned by the Okmulgee Area Development Corporation, the OADC, spanning 80 miles directly across from the Holiday Inn Express, Okmulgee. It is situated in a TIF district and in a federal opportunity zone and qualifies for new market tax credits. Construction is anticipated to start late spring of this year. The second is the Okmulgee Regional Airport Industrial Park, located 2.7 miles from the Holiday Inn Express. This development is a joint effort between the OADC and Covington Aircraft, that's announced its plans to establish its global headquarters there, with construction expected to begin this year. The third is the Okmulgee West Industrial Area, which is privately owned, currently under contract, and awaiting finalization. Okmulgee's strong push for new industry and development is anticipated to lead to business travel and a heightened demand for lodging facilities. Additionally, there's a project underway to widen the Fairgrounds Road, undertaken by the Muskogee Nation. This initiative aims to accommodate the growing Muskogee population and enhance traffic flow and accessibility to the area where the new centralized citizen services building will be located. This project is expected to create a need for accommodations for construction workers during execution, as well as increased visitors and traffic after completion. So I've talked a lot about industry in Okmulgee, but what about the fun stuff? Okmulgee hosts multiple opportunities for fun and entertainment, and the Holiday Inn Express is well positioned to benefit from tourists needing accommodations. Jandenberg's Motorsports Park is the largest family-oriented motorsports park in the Midwest. Located 3 miles from the Holiday Inn Express, this park is open year-round and brings in thousands of motocross visitors each year, many from out of state who will need accommodations. The Muskogee Nations Festival is held every year at the Claude Cox Complex, 3 minutes from the Holiday Inn Express. This is a multi-day event, and projected attendance is over 50,000 people. The Holiday Inn Express is a preferred hotel for the event, listed as one of 2 accommodations on the festival website. This event is sure to mean more room nights coming to the Holiday Inn Express. The Roy LeBlanc Invitational Rodeo is the oldest African American rodeo and running for 69 years and is one of the largest African American sporting events in the nation. Over 300 cowboys generally compete, and over 1,000 spectators generally attend. This rodeo is held yearly at the Bob Arrington Rodeo, 2 minutes away from the Holiday Inn Express. Nature enthusiasts will also find plenty to enjoy in Okmulgee. For instance, just 9.5 miles away from the Holiday Inn Express is the Deep Fork National Wildlife Refuge, along with Okmulgee and Dripping Springs Lake, which holds the title of Oklahoma's first trophy bass lake. Visitors traveling to embrace the great outdoors will likely need a place to stay, making the Holiday Inn Express a convenient option. The proximity of the Holiday Inn Express to so many demand drivers increases the hotel's appeal as the destination for both business and leisure travelers. I am presently negotiating for the acquisition of this property and have submitted a letter of intent to purchase the Holiday Inn Express for $6.25 million. We expect that around $4.7 million will be funded through debt, and the remaining $2.5 million will come from raised equity. I'm looking to acquire this property and operate it within a 5-year window, offering it up for sale in the market thereafter, with most likely buyers being another regional hotel operator, a 1031 exchange buyer, or an SBA-backed first-time hotel owner or other small business owner. Using an anticipated 10% debt interest rate, a conservative 1% annual growth rate, an exit at an 8% cap rate, and a projected sales price of $10.3 million, our forecasts project a 13.4% annual cash-on-cash return, a remarkable 28.74 IRR, and a 3.04x multiple on invested capital. These numbers highlight an attractive investment opportunity, reinforcing our confidence in the expected cash flow and value appreciation. Additionally, This property is in an area eligible for USDA loans that, if suitable, would offer more favorable interest rates and increase ROI numbers. As with any investment, there are risks. Okmulgee is a small town with a population of about 11,400. Small towns can have limited labor pools, and staffing shortages can negatively affect hotel operations. Some possible mitigation strategies to these challenges include cross-training on-site staff and offering small bonus or housing support to attract stable local staff. Also, recently, Okmulgee has experienced a slight decrease in population, partly due to a housing shortage. This could pose a challenge for hotel properties if it leads to a reduced guest base or economic downturn. Possible mitigation strategies for this issue involves targeting transient or crew lodging that doesn't rely on the local population, marketing to extended stay guests such as contractors, traveling nurses, and professionals who prioritize convenience over location vitality, and establishing a robust online presence to capture regional demand beyond local foot traffic. Additionally, monitoring trends annually and adjusting pricing and marketing strategies accordingly will be crucial. However, it's worth noting that Okmulgee is making significant efforts to support and grow business and industry in the area, which create a demand for worker housing and is expected to attract private housing developers. In summary, the acquisition of the Holiday Inn Express in Okmulgee presents an outstanding opportunity for equity investors. With its strategic location, innovative renovation, and robust financial projections, this property not only promises a healthy return, but positions you in a community on the rise. I invite you to join us in this promising venture. The time to act is now. By investing in this hotel, you won't just be an investor, you'll be an integral part of a successful hospitality operation in a thriving community. Thank you for your attention. I welcome your questions and look forward to discussing this exceptional opportunity further.
All right. Great job, Camilla. How you feeling?
Better now.
Okay, all right. A quick note to the judges as well. Her slides had a little bit of an issue. Again, on us, not on Camilla. All right, judges, questions, thoughts, where are we? Where do we want to start?
Well done, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very exciting. I noticed that the property's been running around 129 RevPAR index. What gives you, I mean, that's a strong index, right? So what gives you confidence that you can increase that further?
So I'm looking to the, like I was talking about, the increase in manufacturing, the new industry that's coming in, and hoping that will build up the community some more and offer even more opportunities.
Amy?
Thank you, good job. A follow-up to that question, with the extended stay guests that you're looking to target with construction and nurses, within the concept, are there any sort of extended stay hotels with kitchens or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. There's a Best Western up the way, there's a Days Inn, and there's some other little local kind of like budget inns, but I'm not aware that any are extended stay.
Great job.
Thank you.
Interesting project for sure. I know this area from back in my motocross days, but it's just very fun that way. You mentioned, the increased business. 7% seems pretty impressive in year one for an occupancy. Are all those manufacturing facilities opening in the next 12 months? That's one. And then also to tag on to the extended stay question, do you have extended stay amenities in the hotel currently?
Currently, we do not have extended stay amenities. And as far as the opening of the new industry, for what's scheduled right now, the industrial parks are supposed to, at least the one across the street is supposed to be starting construction late spring of this year. The I mentioned the Muskogee, the Citizen Services Building is also supposed to be completed and open sometime in 2025. So a lot of these projects are like around this year. That's not to say that there won't be any like delay, because you can plan, but they're anticipated to be opening around 2025, or at least starting construction.
Thank you. And I would definitely shop your loan. I think you should be able to beat 10%. That's very conservative, which is nice to see. But you should definitely be able to do that.
Judy?
Most of my questions have already been asked. I too have some concerns about the fact that your comp set is, their occupancy is going down 10% while you're showing an increase in your occupancy, and the rate, you're showing 50% increase in your rate while the comp set is going down. So, or is staying flat, excuse me. With the extended stay, I think that that's a good idea. I think that you should look at that if there isn't a lot of extended stay in the market, especially in that economy and in that environment. However, you will need to provide some type of food and beverage amenities, whether that's kitchens in the room or some type of breakfast down in the lobby in order to get that business.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I think I didn't mention there is breakfast. They do have breakfast.
There is?
Yes.
Okay. Is that like a complimentary breakfast that you're serving?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you'll really need to focus in on that. And then as far as the PIP, you had a $50,000 PIP. What was that earmarked for?
So that's just an estimated change of ownership PIP. That may be less because, like I said, it's been fully remodeled between 2023 and 2024. So I don't imagine that there'll be much to do, if anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So just okay.
Matt?
One last comment. It says that it's 67 keys and you're sitting on 3 acres. Are you able to, is it right in the middle of that 3 acres, or are you able to maybe section off some of that land and sell for a restaurant or potentially a section on top?
That's something I would have to look into, exactly where it's located within the property. Yeah.
Jim. Bravo, by the way.
Thank you.
It was interesting to see we only had kind of partial year 24 results. Were you not able to get full year 24 and or year to date 25?
So I was able to get up to the end of 2024. And so I think those, even though I know it says those numbers were reflected in my numbers, till the end of 2024, yes.
And then between 22 and 23, which are kind of the last 4 years that I saw here, there was a pretty significant dip on NOI.
Yes.
Any idea what caused that?
Well, if I were, my hypothesis would be that there's a combination of just in general, the market dipped a little bit, but also during renovations, there was less occupancy because of that too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions from the judges before we go to the audience? All righty, audience, what questions do you have that our judges did not ask? I'm scanning the room. If not, I know I'm going to go to the SHAD table over here. Yes.
Hi. Hi.
Great job. Was wondering how you came up with your concept.
So this was through the STR comp set that I received, which was kind of other Holiday Inn Express in like surrounding areas, surrounding towns. Yeah.
Okay, so that was like the owner provide star.
Yes.
Awesome. All righty. Camilla, congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
On a great pitch. We're going to send you off backstage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. So now you're going to take out your phones and you're going to scan that QR code. And remember, this vote goes towards the 5% to the overall vote that the judges will be putting into place. You're going to scan this to vote on Camilla. And as a reminder, every entry, every vote gets you in to win some awesome prizes from our sponsors. Now, as you're voting, we're going to let Camilla get ready backstage, and I think we are going to give her a few seconds, and we're ready. Thadral, we're going to send it back to you for our behind-the-scenes interview.
All right, well, congratulations. Really interesting project. You really took Tracy's advice on not sleeping on the Midwest. So earlier you mentioned, I think it was in your video, that ever since you were a little girl, you wanted to live in hotels or own hotels. What was the specific moment or story that inspired you to kind of take the leap into hotel ownership?
So I've been interested in real estate, and I always thought, I was looking to invest in, residential real estate. And I learned about Tracy's program, and this, like I said, it's something that I never could conceive of, like hotel ownership, but through this program, I said, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I took the leap and to see what I could learn, and yeah.
And with that, so you're actually an attorney by trade,
Yes.
correct? And so in your process, what are some things from your attorney background have you been able to apply in the SHAD journey? And what I guess, takeaways from your SHAD journey do you think you will apply to your day-to-day?
Yeah, so, the type of law I do is special education, so there's not a lot of similarity. I'm not doing like mergers and acquisitions or anything. But I think just being able to comb through a lot of data, I'm always like reviewing records and everything, so yeah, that's kind of what I took from my career, and what I'll take from SHAD to my career is just I guess the knowledge of a lot of times if there's something you haven't like done or experienced before, and there's so many areas of law, and you're like, it can be like a little fear involved, like, oh, I've never done that. Just knowing that, okay, I can jump into a new area and learn this, yeah.
For sure. Well, good luck. Really enjoyed it. You're our last pitch for today's woman before we head over into lunch. So next, our final word from one of our sponsors, IHG.
I'm Tracy Prigmore, founder of She Has a Deal, and welcome back to SHAD Talk. The best part of SHAD Talk this year and last year was sitting here with alum of the She Has a Deal program. We're here with Lauren Graff, Ebony Jones, and Crystal Key, all who pitched previously in the competition. So ladies, we all love a Holiday Inn Express, right? I can't say that I love one in Oklahoma because I just don't know where it is. I can't even pronounce it, but there's always opportunity where you don't know, right? Like if you are not familiar, there were a lot of demand drivers that Camilla laid out. I mean, I would have never, I don't know, I just don't know Oklahoma, but I'm sure it's a wonderful place. What were you guys' thoughts about the location and her commitment to this small community? Risky, maybe not so risky, and not as much competition. What are your thoughts? Lauren, you want to start?
Sure. Thanks, Tracy. I think it was an interesting location, obviously outside, two major cities within Oklahoma. I think the positioning near, the interstate will help a lot. Could be a little risky, but she seems really passionate, and I agree. I think she did a great job, feeding us all the demand generators in that area. So I think we all feel more comfortable with that market, hearing what she had to say. But I would have loved to hear, maybe a little bit more on the P&L side and what her strategy is to drive the bottom line in that market.
I know, Crystal, you were concerned about the market's occupancy, and I'm always teaching you guys, like, select service hotel, people are not necessarily coming. They're not coming to the area to stay at your Holiday Inn Express. They're coming to the market and they're finding your hotel. What are your thoughts about that 38%? And although the hotel is dominating the market, what do you see the risk of going into a market with such a low average demand?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Seems like there's a lot of demand in the market, but I look at the pipeline, there's no hotels in the pipeline to support that data of, there's a high demand in the market, but there's no new hotels. And the hotel is freshly renovated. So I was thinking, what's the add-on value to project that 10% occupancy from what it is right now currently? So that was a little bit my concern. What's the value added, whether it's a management company or usually it's a PIP, or changing the brand? I'm not seeing that, and I don't think that data is supporting that 10% projection. So that was a little bit of, what my concern. But I think that overall, the market looks great. All the demand generators, there's leisure, there's business, there's logistic, and there's institution, so it's all there. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're already existing. There's no new markets, to capture this audience.
Well, maybe they'll dominate, with that new demand coming in and no supply. What do you think, Ebony?
Yeah, I think the property hasn't had a chance to ramp since its recent renovation. My family's Muskogee, so I've been looking to find something in this area, so she doesn't want it. So the comments were about occupancy and how she was aggressive in her projections in year one. So I have her motto, so I changed it, and her return metrics are still very impressive, even if you were to be in line with previous year occupancy. So I think it's still a very solid deal. She's conservative on her growth metrics year over year, so I think it's a very good deal, and she did a really great job.
I forgot your family's from Oklahoma, and I was talking about Oklahoma when we were in here. Thank you, ladies. Our next segment, we're going to be talking with some women who have done it. So we'll see you over there. Oh, a little more time to talk. Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about Oklahoma, Ebony?
So my mother, she didn't know her father. We did a ancestry DNA kit and found this out only recently. So I haven't been there personally. I'm planning to do this trip to take her back. So I don't know it. I just wanted to do something there for her, but I wasn't going to force something to work.
Yeah. Well, the best thing about hotels is they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere, and they come in all different levels, from economy to ultra luxury. So there's opportunity, to do things in many areas. I want to go back to the returns then, since we have a little bit more time than I thought. You talked about the returns being real good and it being solid and you being interested. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, so she was originally, I think, over 30 or so on her IRR, and when I changed the occupancy down to the previous year, which was like 70 or so, she's still at 27% IRR, with all the other metrics being just as impressive. MOIC at 3, cash on cash at 12. So I think she was aggressive in her modeling, but luckily there's room for her to make adjustments as she goes through her due diligence process and learns more about the property.
I will say 3 times MOIC on exit on 5 year. It's really good with that. I think she projected loan at 10% interest, which is very conservative loan. So the numbers looks really good if it all worked out. It's a great deal.
Yeah, I agree. The returns look great. I'd be curious to see, I think she mentioned an 8% cap, which seems pretty low for the area. I'd have to look more into it, but I'd be curious to see what the returns are at maybe a 10.5 cap.
Yeah, so an 8 in that part of the country you think should be more like a 10. Which, of course, for those who are not familiar, because we're educating people, learn, connect, invest,
here when you're with Shad, is the lower the cap rate, the higher the sales price, which would increase your return on investment. So you got to be careful when you're projecting your cap rates, because that is really what dictates what you assume you could sell it for on an exit. So Lauren's suggesting that the cap rate should come up to 10, which would lower the sales price and thus the return on investment. So probably a sensitivity analysis would have been beneficial in this realm.
Yeah, but overall she did a great job.
Yeah. All right, so you guys know what's coming up next? The early careerists. You two, Crystal and Lauren, were early careerists. What year, Lauren, for you?
2022.
2022, and did you win?
Got second.
You got second.
Trying to get over it.
And Crystal?
Well, I did it last year, so very fresh. Just last year, 2024.
Yeah. So, Lauren, what are you doing now? Like after this incredible experience you had with SHaDPitch? Well, you told me that. So, what are you doing now?
So I currently work at Rockbridge with Siraj, and then one of the judges of the early careers section, Taylor Allen. I'm a senior analyst there, and I can confidently say that I would not be there today if it wasn't for Shad. And so I'm, forever grateful for this program and all that I learned going through it. And so currently I work on our portfolio management team. I oversee a set of assets, particularly on our debt platform. And so it's really interesting. I get to work with owners, operators, and kind of get introduced to the lending side, which I hadn't really learned a ton about before, and I love it.
It's wonderful, and we love Rockbridge. They're one of our sponsors. Shout out to Jimmy Merkel, the CEO, but we really appreciate Rockbridge. Their partnership as a sponsor really helps us to bring this education to all the women who participate. So thank you. All right, well, let's go see some more pitches, or She Did It. It's time for She Did It, I think. Talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Lauren might have gotten second place on her SHaDPitch competition. We definitely won when we got Lauren as an intern and as a team member over at Rockbridge. And so what an amazing start to today's competition. Let's give another big round of applause to all three women from our Today's Women contestants. And a big round of applause to our esteemed panel of judges to take their time to invest in their questions. I'm glad I was not answering any of those questions, only facilitating those questions. And so before we take a quick break and introduce our next group of presenters, our early careerists, we have something very special for you. This next panel is She Did It. Tracy will speak to two extraordinary women hoteliers and developers who have turned ambition to achievement. They've walked the path, faced the challenges, and emerged as trailblazers in this industry. Their stories are a powerful, powerful reminder that what begins as a pitch today can become a thriving reality tomorrow. Ladies, welcome to the stage. How's it going? How's it going?
That would help. I thought our Inspire, our current cohort who haven't closed on a deal yet, and alum who haven't closed on a deal yet, that it is possible. And I see a lot of grit in both of these women and their experience. But I want to start with Amina. Amina pitched in 2022, and she pitched a Quality Inn. But I want to start first, though, with
how she got to She Has a Deal, because Mina, with her story, she told me from day one that I met her that she was going to close on a deal, and she had a certain date and everything, and she did it. And so I'm very proud to have her here today to talk about it. So can you just talk about your experience and how you arrived at She Has a Deal?
Sure, thanks, Tracy. Is this on? Yeah, okay. Really excited to be here. So I arrived at She Has a Deal by looking at Google. That's kind of the big story, but I come from a career in federal government, doing learning and organization development, and my husband and I had some single family properties that we would rent out, and for some reason I just got really interested in hotels. I didn't know where to start, so I Googled and found a few different people, and Tracy was one of them with She Has a Deal, and that was back in 2020, I think. So right before COVID happened and all that, or maybe right after. And I was just looking for some education and a network of people who I could talk to about this, because we started 100% green. I mean, we knew nothing about the hospitality industry, and that's where Tracy and She Has a Deal came in. And I was part of the first cohort of Today's Women. Yes. So yeah, I was there in the mastermind thing you were having when you announced to us that there will be a Today's Woman. We didn't know at the time that by way of being in the mastermind, we were gonna be contestants. But yeah, that's how that all came together.
And so you pitched a Quality Inn. Tell us about that property and where you are today with that.
Okay, so I pitched a 70-room Quality Inn. That was in April, it was 2022, and we purchased the property in December of 2022. And what I told you was in 2022, I was gonna buy a hotel. So I made it with like 4 days to spare. It was rough. So yeah, right now, the Memphis market is not happy. That's what I call rough hotel markets. We're still there, which is a feat in itself when you're in this business. But yeah, really hoping that we could bring some more conference business back to Memphis. We're working with city officials on like the crime rates and everything, which we've been doing this whole time, in touch with our commissioner. But hotel ownership can be difficult, and the markets vary. A lot, so we'll see what the rest of 2025 brings. Maybe I'll be participating in my first exit. I don't know. We'll see.
But no, I think that's the important thing that wanted to get across to the audience is like you did it, right? You had a vision and you went out, found a property, and you closed on it. A lot of space in between. We'll talk about that space in a minute. But I'm gonna turn it over to Jenny because Jenny's story a little different. But Jenny, tell us about your journey or how you found She Has a Deal and how you got started.
Yeah, I mean, I've been building things for other people for about 23 years now. And when I pitched, it was 21 years, which is a long time. And I had always wanted to be a real estate developer and had always worked for family offices and many different typologies. So office and grocery anchored centers and different things, multifamily. So when I started working for a hotel developer, I saw She Has a Deal on some of the emails and the advertisement, and I thought, really? There's an actual class that actually tells you all the steps and everything? Because I've been taking little classes here and there forever. So it was so inspirational to me just to find it, and then to go to the class and have Tracy's support and all the luminaries. She calls them luminaries, all these people that come in and speak and help us understand the whole program. And so it was just really heaven sent for me. And it was a dream come true because I always say this is really funny. I didn't actually win the pitch, so this amazing Portia won the pitch. But I won big because Tracy decided that her friend wanted to invest. And so it's been an amazing journey though. Really, really hard. I can't believe we've been doing this for 2 years. Yes, we closed on the land, but then we've been looking at the big picture and long-term. Really, Tracy's so inspirational, looking at the long-term for SHaD and all the women in it, trying to find some really good equity investors that we can turn to for things down the road. And so she just really stuck with it, and we're able to do that. We're getting there. We're almost there to actually closing on the construction loan,
Jenny,
hopefully in the next couple of weeks. What is it?
What's your deal?
It's a True by Hilton. Yes.
in Redlands, California, and it's a freeway hotel. We feel like it's a slam dunk. It's an amazing property, amazing location. So super excited.
And so when I think about my vision for She Has a Deal, I was looking at women like you. So Jenny, for example, has been developing everything, with a company, but wanted to be an owner herself. And so she was an example of what I saw when I was creating She Has a Deal. And then Amina, who invested in, single family like myself, but was trying to figure out, like, how do I get to the next level? Hotels interest me. How do I even do it? There we go. Now we're here and available with the information. I want to take the rest of our conversation around our 9-stage hotel investment roadmap, because all three of us, we were sharing that we knew we wanted to be into hotels, but we didn't know how to get there. We go to conferences, but really didn't understand like where to start. Okay, so when I had that in mind, as I went through the journey of creating She Has a Deal, we created the 9-stage hotel investment roadmap. And so we're going to kind of go through kind of 9 stages. I want you guys to share how you emerged through those 9 stages. And for Amina went on to do a second deal. Yeah. Yay. Did a second deal. Shout out. I think David were you involved in that one too, David? David's with Wyndham. He's always supporting and helping. But tell us from finding a deal, like how does one go out and actually locate a deal and even know it is a deal?
Yeah. So both my deals, I happened upon them in different ways. So the Quality Inn I found on kind of by accident on LoopNet, which I never visit for hotels because I just always go to Crexy and 10X and other sites. And you kind of have to have that determination and use the knowledge that you've gained from like the courses and the roadmap and all that to take the first step. Because for me with the Quality Inn, the first step was calling the broker, who I saw his name and phone number there. And I realized that that's not something that everyone's comfortable doing. That's why you really have to like get that education first and rely on that. So when you call, questions to ask, you can ask about offer price, what they're looking for, yada, yada. So that's how I found that one. And, I had a conversation with the broker, pretty short conversation. It kind of went from there. And I'll save the rest, I guess, for when we get to the next stage. But, and then with the Wyndham brands in Lake Charles, Louisiana, this came across my desk maybe 3 or 4 times from brokers, from friends, from Wyndham itself. And I said, well, so finally when Wyndham sent it, I took a look at it and I said, oh, this makes a lot of sense. So I think one place that people forget to look is like the brand, because a lot of times they'll kind of look at things in areas that they're interested in, and then you can go in there and see if there's anything available in those areas. They'll have like maybe some intelligence on good markets and things like that. So that was really helpful in finding that deal.
And so that was a conversion. So you converted from one brand to the Wyndham. Mm-hmm. You're still in the conversion process? Is that
it's open as a Wyndham, but we're still in the renovation process.
Still in the renovation process. And Jenny?
So I had underwritten a lot of acquisitions or potential acquisitions when I was first working with the SHAD model, thinking that it would just be an acquisition just because, it's smaller, the price tag and everything. And I had this amazing coach, Kara Randall at Hilton, and she was really helping me bounce things off of my model. I'd send her my model, she'd say things. And she was like, duh, why don't you do, because my background is development and construction, she's like, why don't you play to your strength and do the new build? And so, and this took an effort because the model wasn't built for a new build, ground up. So Tracy did a lot, helped me a ton. Kendra, who some of you know, she helped me as well. So we had to kind of break the model and redo some things. But just that support, really that whole network, helped me decide on what project to pitch. And it played to my strength, and it helped me.
You've done a wonderful job in navigating that construction. So a new construction project for your first project is pretty bold, but you're doing a fabulous job at it, if I have to say so myself.
With my partner, Tracy.
So the second stage is all about the deal thesis. So, we really share with the women that you have to be able to create value, generate value from the investment. So you can't just buy an investment and keep it in the same way. There's got to be some value proposition in it. Can you talk about what you saw in the property? Let's talk about the Wyndham property. What did you see that attracted you to Lake Charles, Louisiana? You live in the DMV. What attracted you there? And like, what did you see in that property? How are you going to add value?
Sure. So it was operating as a Holiday Inn, and it has a full-service restaurant on property, so that was interesting to us. Lake Charles, Louisiana is known kind of as a casino market, and it has a university, so there's plenty of demand drivers. It's a drive-to destination for Houston. So when we were looking at it, we said we could keep it, we looked at all of our options, and I know one of the women who was pitching did the same thing. I think that's really important. We had almost every brand interested, but when it came down to it, we were looking for, who would be the best partner for this particular property in this market, and that's when we went for Wyndham, and we knew that we wanted to elevate it into an upscale brand. So it does carry the namesake flag, which is a big deal for us and for Wyndham. And we knew that we wanted to rebrand the restaurant. So we're actually, once the renovation's completed at the end of the summer, will be, the restaurant's currently operating, but the value add will be that we're rebranding the restaurant to be a Cajun Fusion restaurant, and we're really going to try to bring the community in. We've engaged a marketing company. So there was a lot of value add pieces. So outside of the casinos, currently our hotel is the only non-casino hotel that's full service in the market. That might change in the next couple of years, but there's some pipeline properties that were supposed to be up there already that haven't come yet, so who knows. But that was a big deal for us, and we can really draw that crowd that wants to have like a nightcap or some dinner, but doesn't want to be in the crazy scene of the casino. Lots of construction happening in Lake Charles right now.
So when you're envisioning the property and creating that deal thesis, it's all about increasing the value of the asset. Increasing the value of the asset is what's going to get the return that investors are looking for, that you're looking for as a sponsor. I'm going to skip to the next stage, which is, taking control. So I'm always, talking to ladies like, look, you do all this work, but you want to make sure that the seller will sell it to you for the price that makes sense for you to achieve your goals. So Jenny, can you talk about your process of taking control? It's a little bumpy. I think they were suspect to your ability to close. You want to talk just a little bit about that and share with the audience?
Right. So Tracy was bringing up the ability to close when you're making an offer, sending in an LOI. That's obviously what the seller wants to know. Who can possibly actually close on this? Who's going to actually close? Who's going to do it the quickest? So there were supposedly a couple of other potential buyers, and so I had to do some kind of fast talking and let them know, my background. But then also, I used Shad and I used Tracy, and I used the fact she already owned hotels, and so they were interested in that because it wasn't like obvious that who I was, and so we had a number of discussions on the phone. And then I was also able to, they had this land, which was entitled, which made it very interesting. In California, it takes forever to do things. And so if it's already through the first big hurdle of approvals of the city, it makes it easier. So that was done. And then when Tracy, we had some talks, we did our homework. We knew how much it was going to cost us to actually do all the rest of the permitting. And so we were able to use that information and drive the price down. So it made it a little, we finally got the LOI signed and then moved on to the PSA.
How long did that take?
So that took us, I think 6 months, right? 6 or 7.
6 months.
Yeah,
So
it was a process. It's a process.
It's not a slow process. And what's so funny to me, but for both of you, so the offers that you made for your first deal was the only offer you ever made, and you got the deal closed. I can't tell you how many offers I put in and didn't get. So I think there's value when she has a deal. I said it to our partners, our sponsorship partners, there's value in the education and the connections that are being made. Let's skip to 4, not skip, but let's go to 4, which is due diligence. Is the most important process, right? Knowing that you're going to get what you believe, or what we like to say is you're testing your deal thesis. So you have your deal thesis, you're trusting what the seller's telling you, but then now you have to verify what the seller's telling you. So I want to switch it around a little bit because we want to be candid around this. The process is fierce. Are there any lessons that you learned in due diligence that would have you do it different the next time around? So any, I'll call them failures, any failures that you made, or mistakes, or hiccups that you made in assumptions in due diligence that you finding today wasn't necessarily the reality, that maybe you could have done something different to catch it in advance, or would you have done anything different?
I know for me on my first one, we probably would have underwrote it a little bit differently. We have a completely different staffing model, I'll put it that way, than the previous owner. And while we knew that, we didn't put in enough contingency for that, and we didn't put in enough of a high enough estimate of how much our labor would actually cost, especially with inflation and everything. So that's definitely been a lesson learned that I can think of off the top of my head.
Jenny, anything that you've learned? I mean, we're still getting ready to close to on the construction loan, but we've been on the journey.
Yeah. Ask me in a few more months when we're in the middle of construction, because I know there's always things that will come up. But I don't think so. I think our costs went up, not hugely unexpectedly, because it's been a while, since we first underwrote them. But something really interesting changed, and that's the opportunity zone. So I knew it was in an opportunity zone, but I just was not sure what impact that it might possibly have, and so I didn't use that in the initial underwriting or anything. Turns out that as we dug into that, that's one of the things certain equity investors are very interested in, and so we're definitely using that now as the basis for all of our return projections. But so just
I'll
as
say
much
one
as you can do.
area I made a mistake on is property tax forecast.
Oh, California.
Because in California,
I didn't know this part either.
I didn't know that.
Because I'd never been an
I
owner.
have 2 properties in California now, and I'm a little less cash flowing because of that. So what California does is you will pay your 2023 taxes, but then in 2024, end of 2024, they come back to you, they go back and charge you for what you should have paid in 2023 based on the new valuation. In Maryland, they don't do that. I should probably be quiet, because they don't go back. So you pay the 2023 taxes, and you're good. The next year, it gets bumped up substantially, but they don't go back. So I got 2 tax bills in 2024, and I paid them, and I thought it was for 2025. So we would have underwrote a little bit differently there.
Definitely on the taxes. Another thing, I guess, just within this whole conversation is I feel like you have to, in order to do this, you have to be somewhat comfortable with some uncertainty, and you have to know that there's going to be issues that you did not foresee, and you just got to have faith that you can figure it out. So, and you just got to work your butt off to figure it out. So.
And I think I would just add, now that we're in the middle of a conversion, definitely whatever company you select for your FF&E, the majority of it, whenever you think you have to start working with them, add 6 months if possible, because everything's just taking longer, costs are going up. So that's something we learned as far as, and we also budget for a project manager. I'm going to be honest, we were trying to be cheap with our conversion. So we're like, oh, we got this. We have a GP, an ownership group of 5. We have, veterans, logistics officers. We're like, we got this. I did the procurement. My husband's managing the supply chain and all that, and it's been a lot. Like, every morning he starts his day before he goes to his day job, his 9 to 5. He starts his day with a call from overseas talking to the design company. So definitely, as you're underwriting, and also, Tracy, I think you know this about me. I'm the type of person where I like to learn things, like do it at least once, and then next time, even if I know I shouldn't, I'm like, oh, it sounded like a good idea at the time. So it was kind of like that too, but definitely budget for like a project manager and those other support services.
Get a good procurement company like Stroud, one of our sponsors. That's who I worked with on my first deal, and they were amazing, because I would have not been able to handle what your husband is doing. Okay, so stage 5, you guys remember what stage 5 was? The funnest part?
PSA? No, because we already did due diligence.
Yeah. Structure the deal.
Oh, that's
right. So SHAD is about creating sponsors, and so most of our participants are going to use a syndication model where they're raising capital. So after you finish your due diligence, you know, or you feel very comfortable about what you expect your deal thesis, how it's to be carried out, that you feel comfortable that it's a high probability of success.
but you're going to structure the deal and determine how much you're going to give to the investors, what your debt is going to be, how much equity you need. So you're going to structure all that before you go into raising capital. So let's spend some time on raising capital and your experiences. So we'll start with Jenny first, because we're still raising capital. I already said we need $1 million more investors in the room.
Tracy's always raising.
So talk about your experience, because this was new for you, in raising capital, what lessons you learned or what advice you would give to anyone who is interested in owning, but feels like I felt when I started. I took a long time to start because I was like, well, how am I going to get the money?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, this is another one of those areas, not just uncertainty you have to be comfortable with, but just getting totally out of your comfort zone. It really pushed me to talk to people that I didn't think I could or would before. And it's amazing how, I guess not necessarily forgiving, but people don't, I thought that they'd hate me forever if they didn't want to do it or something, but no, it's okay, it's okay, you just talk to everybody. And so it was really good for me. We went through the first phase to buy the land was just friends and family. And Tracy's been cultivating an investor base for years now, and so we did lean on that, but then also gleaned some new ones through some new associations. And then the second phase, we just really been, again, focusing on a bigger fish that could help the SHaD through years to come. And so that was doing a whole different, just by searching and talking to people and networking and continuing to search and interview with people over and over and over. So interesting, very different in the first phase and the second phase. Totally out of my comfort zone, learned a lot.
How many phone calls did you make?
Well, do I count all the lists of phone calls? Just a lot. I don't even know. I'd have to go back to our list and look at them all. Yeah, a lot of phone calls.
How about you, Amina? You chose a Reg CF route with a Reg D compliments, right?
So for the second one. For the first one, it was Reg D. And then for the second one, it was Reg CF and Reg D. Because our first project was 4.7 million, and our second one's 11.8 million. So, we almost tripled. Yeah. So we had to find more money. I think what I've been praised for by the investors, also serving as the investors relations person for our deals is, I know we have 12 jobs, is transparency. During the process of raising the money, raising capital, there wasn't really a question they asked that I hadn't already thought about and could answer. And then if there wasn't or there was a question that I couldn't answer, I would always make sure to follow up with them. So it's really just building that trust relationship. Because if you're raising money from folks that really don't know you from a can of paint, why are they going to want to give you $25K or $50K or what have you? And then I didn't do a lot of phone calls, but I did a crazy number of webinars, which were really popular back in 21 and 22 when we were first raising money. So we do a webinar for my sorority sisters, a webinar for my frat brothers, a webinar for this population, a webinar for friends. So just really tapping into all of your different networks because you never know who might be interested. And also getting out there at the conferences and networking and all that stuff. So when you said fun, that's why I didn't think about structuring the deal, because when you said the fun part, I'm like, closing, but yeah.
So how much did you raise on the first property, and then how much on the second?
The first property we raised, so we didn't raise enough money, so that's a lesson learned. We raised $785,000, but we needed about $1 million on closing day. We had it because we knew, obviously, before closing day that we were short. So we put it in. I know it sounds so simple, but the general part is, we put it in. So we were able to close. And then on this deal, in the first deal we used SBA. So we were able to get the 85-15 LTV, yeah. Okay. Right around 85%. And then for this deal, we raised around $3 million. We raised more than enough money. So we actually still have some for operating costs at the hotel. And are we getting into debt? We worked with Wyndham for our lender this time, and we worked with Lafayette Square, who's part of Wyndham's Women on the Room and Bold programs. And we were actually the first deal, this is my little plug for Wyndham, but we were the first deal to go through
Lafayette Square's new program pledging $100 million for aspiring hoteliers. So.
Yeah, congratulations to Wyndham for putting that program together. Because it really does make a difference. I think you went out to capital markets, it's a little challenging.
Yeah, so when folks found out when the lenders found out we were converting from a Holiday Inn to a Wyndham, they really, they thought I was crazy, but they said it in a bit of a more professional way. But we knew the vision we had, and we had talked with other brands too. So, we were very close to going with a different brand, and it really came down to not the numbers, because we were pretty secure in our underwriting, but it came down to what the brands could offer us, which is a great position to be in. And, the brand that brought us the best deal to the table was one. Yeah.
And capital really makes a difference. I've been talking about that all day. Jenny, how much are you raising? And how much have you raised?
Well, things changed. Right? We thought we were going to raise a certain amount and ended up having to raise more because it's a long story. But so you pivot, right? You just go, oh, okay, we got to keep going. But we've raised about 8. I understand it could be more than that. It's phased to get people in the fund. And so you've always got this pipeline and you think that some of them are more promising than others. But so we think we're almost there, but we've got 8 in, and then we're timing the rest with closing day.
So about $1 million to raise. The investment's still active. Okay, so that's stage 5, structure the deal, like how much debt are you gonna get, how much equity do you need, how much are you going to give to investors, what kind of structure, Reg CF, Reg D, Reg A, whatever legal structure. And then you raise the capital. So once you know how much you need and what you're offering investors, you go out with your offering. That's stage 7 or 6. And then 7 is close the deal.
I didn't know we were going to be tested on the phases.
Yeah, I would have studied more.
You should have told us
that.
that.
To educate.
I'm a little rusty.
So closing, what surprised you about closing? I mean, you came up short. Did you sell those shares after closing, or did you guys keep your money in?
No, we kept our money in. So we're hoping to get it back. But as I always say, Memphis is. So we'll see what happens when we sell.
Yeah.
Closing, what surprised me about closing? I guess with the property and with the quality in Memphis, just the turnover of everything. So, you close, you go to the hotel, we didn't use a management company at first. It's a 70-room, economy. So we had a consultant though, so he turned over all the staff for us, had our agreements and all that. So it's just boom, 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 how that happens. Now with the Wyndham, it's 120 rooms, and it's just, to me, it's massive. And I know it's not even there are hotels that are 200 rooms, 1,000, the casinos are 1,000 plus rooms. But for us, 120 rooms is massive. So just dealing with, even in the beginning stages with the property condition assessments and all of that. But closing, I would say that the second time around, there were a lot less surprises with closing because we had learned a lot during our first go-round. So there's something to be said for having one under your belt.
Absolutely. Doesn't it get easier? You raised $3 million versus probably was a lot of grunt work.
Different from easy, but it does get easier. Yeah, yes.
No, never easy, right? Jenny, so you're going to have 2 closings. You have 1 closing behind you. Anything that you learned or surprised you closing 1, and then we're on the road to closing 2?
Closing 1, I don't think we were surprised. We just ended up pushing it out and being able to extend with working with the seller because of money, what we were able to, and they were very amenable to it. And then this one, we aren't all the way through it yet, but there's just a lot of papers, a lot of documents. And there's a ton of stuff to read, and if you want to know it, you have to read it. That's all there is to it.
Okay. So stage 8, do you guys remember what stage 8 is?
Taking control.
You're going through it right now.
No.
Yeah.
Managing, okay.
Managing the asset, right? So
I was going to say stabilize, but
I was going to say taking control. Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
So what are you learning from that process, or what have you learned? So you've got 1 under belt, 1 still kind of in the growth and stabilization phase. So from managing the asset. So once you have it, I think you told me it's easier to close than to actually manage it.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe that it's easier to get to the closing table. One thing I've learned recently is
really hard to have a good housekeeping staff. I know a lot of people are having that issue, but just the labor market in general is changing. So that's just been something we've had to navigate. I think that's across industries, not just with hotels. Hotels can be seasonal and depending on the market. Both of our hotels are in seasonal markets. So just like really learning you're a squirrel in a way, right? During the busy months, you're stashing away money for the slow months so that you have money to pay the bills. So just like getting that ebb and flow of it all and understanding that. But it's probably going to take me another 2 hotels to really have anything really great to say about lessons learned. But it's all a process. So it gets tough, but you definitely shouldn't quit if it's something you're really interested in.
Yeah. So we're about to wrap up, and I know there's many people in the room as well as online who have an aspiration, to own hotels, and I would like to get some advice, from both of you. What would you advise them as they begin the journey, or they're wondering if they should begin the journey? Jenny, you want to start?
Do She Has a Deal, and then you'll know. And it's really an amazing thing to go through it and just do the stand-up up here. It's a huge accomplishment just to get through that. But just then you'll understand what investing is all about too, and you can choose whether you want to be a passive investor, which is also really awesome and obviously needed everywhere. So just jump in, super fun. And there's this community that's very fun. Super fun. And you guys are an inspiration.
I will say that participating in the Today's Women Pitch competition was a big step forward for me because it made me say out loud what I had been putting down on paper for years at that point. So definitely get the education and get yourself out there and get used to hearing no. I mean, I've been turned down by lenders. I've been turned down by, our first hotel, it took like 4 months to negotiate the PSA, and it was only it was a straight acquisition, but we just saw things differently. So you have to have grit, determination, and get used to being uncomfortable, but don't quit. It's possible.
Absolutely possible. Stage 9 is exit, and hopefully you exit with more money than you put in to the deal, because the whole reason for an investment is to make money. Yeah. I have to tell my employees that, we're here to make money. Yep. So thank you both for joining me on the stage. Thank you for sharing your stories. It's been an incredible journey, just mentoring and working with both of you, and I hope that you'll do the same, pay it forward, and work with many of the women in the room, women online, and others as well. We have men in our master classes, so for anyone who is interested in She Has a Deal, because we do educate you, it's about accelerating your knowledge, building competencies so that you can excel once you're in the business. Our applications are open at SheHasADeal.com for our 7th season.
Oh, wow.
In 2026. But also visit us at investwithshad.com. We do have 2 active deals from women who were on the stage, last year and the year before, who are looking for capital investors so that they can finish closing their deal. It's phase 2 for that one, and then with the you heard from Venus with her deal, the Peridot, it's a high destination that we'll be closing on in 30 days. So please, if you are interested in investing, they are Reg D, all legally structured. So please come invest with us. Have a blessed
Thank
day.
you, Tracy.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Wow, it's my turn. Oh. Well, what a powerful dose of wisdom and inspiration from our 2 She Did It alum. Now it's time for you to vote for the 2nd time. So this next voting is about our Viewer's Choice Award. So there's an additional award. We call it our fan favorite. Which team did you like most? Go on and vote, and then every time you vote, we could say vote frequently, you have a chance to win one of our raffle prizes from our sponsors, okay? So don't miss that opportunity to be a part of the movement. We're gonna take a quick break, but stick with us. So there's some brilliance on the way. Our early careers, which are the pipeline, which are our future hotel owners. So we want you to come back for that. That's always very exciting. We have some food for you available. It's a time to network, take a break, maybe make a phone call. But we really want you to come back and see the second half of She Has a Deal. And then this evening, right, around 4:45, we'll move to the Innovation Gallery, and that's where you can meet our cohorts, but also see who's going to take home the bag. $50,000 are at stake for the early careers, as well as for our today's women, $50,000 to invest in their deal equity for our early careers who we don't necessarily expect them to close, so we're building that future pipeline, but they get to invest that $50,000 in our fund and have ownership interest in one of our hotels. All right, so thank you all for being here. We'll see you in about 30 minutes. Is that right? 30 minutes for lunch. It's somewhere back there, all for you. Thank you. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. We have some vintage Shad merch for sale, okay? $30. Grab a t-shirt. If you're a dude, grab it for a dudette, someone that you love in your family. We have some bags. Really, we're getting rid of some of our vintage gear, but again, it's for a donation. This is a nonprofit, and those funds will be used to invest in our educational platforms. Okay? Now, let's hear from our groundbreaking sponsor, Hilton Hotels. Thank you.
Hilton is bringing you more new ways to stay than ever before. With all new places, there's all new experiences to enjoy. Hilton for the stay.